Anyone have the correct answer?
Yes. This is Donald Trump, and he's here for a NATO summit.
Absolutely right. Thank you very much. Cheers. Yes, this is US President Donald Trump and First Lady Melania. This is the news that the Trumps visit the UK this week for the 70th anniversary NATO summit held in London. Were you following the summit?
Oh, avidly.
Oh, I'm sure you were.
Everyone was only allowed 4 minutes to speak.
Yes.
Presumably they had a Mock the Week buzzer to...
They did. And then at the end, Nish Kumar came on, they threw bread at it.
I probably had 3 hours at a hotel in Watford, didn't they? And I thought, if anything's going to make you reach for the nuclear button, it's going to be 3 hours in Watford. Staring out the window going, what are we even protecting? You know, the Harlequin shopping centre.
To be fair to Watford, the Harry Potter experience is quite close to Watford, but the only reason they didn't have it there is Boris was worried he'd be mistaken for a fat Malfoy.
I once had the walk from Watford from the train station to the theatre where you do your show there, Watford, and I wrote down 5 different nightclub names because they were all amazing. Watford has, I can't remember all of them, but I remember the one called Prism. With a Y, P-R-Y.
Oh, class, that's classic.
I mean, Scrabble scores huge on Prism.
Can we all go up for that?
No, I don't like it that much.
The amazing thing is that they had it at Watford, this, like, golf resort hotel, which is just so incongruent. That's, like, one posh thing and one shit thing. I might as well have done it at Monte Carlo Leisure Centre.
It's nice to have it at a golf hotel with Trump there. He's going to be so easily distracted.
It has to be.
With golf right in front of him. It's like trying to have a meeting with David Cameron at a hog roast.
So they've got to have it in Watford. Try getting a table for 29 in London this near Christmas. You got no chance. You'd have to go to Wagamama's at 9 a.m.
Why are we hosting this? Like, we're falling apart. We're having a general election.
Yeah.
It's nearly Brexit. The royal family's gone off the rails. Why are we hosting? It's like going to someone's house for Christmas. It's getting boring. She's just, her husband's left her. The boiler's packed up. She won't stop crying. Let's go round there for lunch.
How did tensions affect the schedule for the summit?
Macron said that NATO was brain dead.
Yeah.
Right, and then the Turkish president said, actually, no, it is you who is brain dead. So I'm mad that these are, like, the biggest leaders in the world. And the argument is still, I know you are, but what am I? We are 2 steps away from the Turkish president going, look, we're all being a bit immature. I think the way to solve this is dickhead says what?
Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely things to hear at Euro 2012.
And there we see in the stands John Terry's wife, and with his arm around her, Rio Ferdinand.
Well, this French team has 3 strikers. Luckily, the other 8 have agreed to play.
Tonight's game is in the incredible city of Kiev. The outskirts are sort of crispy crumbly.
And Holland are 2 down. Yes, I've finished the crossword.
And the Greeks have reached the quarter-final. If only they'd had a massive bet on that.
Oh, that's a bad one. You can see the bone sticking right out. These Ukrainian meat pies really are awful.
And now over to Mark Lawrenson, who has something really interesting to say.
Well, I've never seen that on a pitch before. It seems the referee really is a wanker.
No, mate. This is row 6. Euro 2012.
Here in Ukraine, we launch campaign. Kick football out of racism.
And that is some incredible dribbling there from the Irish supporters.
And things are about to turn ugly as we go back to the studio to Adrian Childs.
And it's Germany against Greece, the ultimate dilemma for the British royal family.
And that is quite simply some wonderful defending there from John Terry's legal team.
Well, the Russians and Ukrainians are going to settle this with a shootout. No penalties, just a shootout.
So, Germany are camped in the Polish half. Not for the first time.
And Rooney's trying to get round the keeper, but his keeper's not letting him out of his cage.
Now we play a round called Thief of Baghdad. This game involves Ed, Jack, Andy and Russell, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is where we test our performers' stand-up skills. We spin our news generator. It settles on a topic and anyone can volunteer jokes about the chosen subject. The winners are the people I judge to produce the funniest stuff. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. First subject is sleep. Edbert.
Does anyone here sleep with someone who snores? Yes? Well, I envy you, because I lie awake next to someone who snores. My wife snores terribly, and part of what keeps me awake is lying there going, how do you sleep through this? I can't sleep through it, I'm only next to it. The noise is inside your head. And how come you can sleep through that? But the sound of me making a sandwich in our kitchen, that wakes you up. There is no way me making a sandwich makes more noise than you're making right now. She snores. So she said the cutest thing to me one time, though. She says, do I not sound like a kitten purring? Bless. No. You sound like a cat drowning in porridge. If I had a kitten made that noise, I'd put it down. Apparently, she had her nose broken a couple of times when she was a kid. Didn't teach her. She's still bleeding snoring.
Thank you very much, Ed. OK, let's spin the wheel again. Subject is health. Andy Parsons.
With flu jabs now, what they do, don't they, is they put a little bit of flu into you to help you combat the flu. I was thinking by that argument, surely you should be able to have the odd cake to help you fight obesity. Because let's face it, you can do too much exercise, can't you? You know, did you see Madonna's arms? They didn't look right, did they? It's like half human, half Terminator. Of course, that's the problem when you're always picking up small African children going, no, no, no.
Thank you very much, Andy. OK, that leaves it with Russell and Jack. Let's spin the wheel. The next subject is television. Who wants to come into that? Jack.
I get very frustrated with pretty much everything on television. I find adverts at the moment particularly annoying, like the banking adverts, because they're trying to portray bankers as being nice people. Like, they've got this one at the moment for, like, a mobile bank that travels around the country, and you walk in and there's your friendly local bank manager acting like a hairdresser, like, nattering away. You know, you walk up to the till, it's like, oh, how was your holiday? I went camping. Oh, why did you go camping? Because you lost all of my money! Decided the only option I've got is just to not watch TV at all, because everything annoys me. And I've got quite a lot of people that pressure me into doing that as well. Like my dad, he's quite old-fashioned. He's always saying, you don't need to watch television. You should do other things, better things, more edifying things. Don't watch TV, Jack. You should read. Read the great novels. They're entertaining, they're educational. Even read the Bible. The Bible is engrossing. It's enthralling. The stories of Jesus, they're encapsulating, they're invigorating. I'm like, no, Dad. If I wanted to be entertained by 12 people sat round a table trying to impress some bearded Jewish know-it-all that thinks he's some kind of deity, I will watch The Apprentice.
Thank you very much, Jack Whitehall. OK, Russell, let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. That's fitness.
Could have been camel toes. Now, I was in the gym the other day. I was in a locker room, and a 5-year-old boy ran in and jumped into a locker. Now, sometimes you know you're just going to have an incident, right? You could hear him in there giggling, like, and you knew what he was going to do. He was going to jump out and scare his mates, because his mates appeared seconds later, like, where's Stephen gone? Where's Stephen? He was there a minute ago. This is most irregular. And he waited, not for his mates, but for 3 huge naked men. It was fantastic. They were kind of walking past, and this little kid leapt at those men like a cat with rabies. It was incredible, right? Just from nowhere, the noise they made, I've never heard a noise like it. They sounded like a tugboat getting molested. His long-suffering dad is in the showers, obviously heard this and went, that'll be my bloody boy! Ran back, confronted this glowing hellbeast and went, Stephen, what have I told you about acting up in public? And this little kid cut his dad down with one very simple sentence. Dad, your willy's moving? You're just there going, oh, the world is a better place.
Thank you very much, Russell.
At the end of that round, the points go to Ed and Jack.
Now we come to scenes we'd like to see. So if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics and then we'll see what our panelists can come up with. OK, here we go. The first subject is unlikely small lads.
Do you want a larger penis? Beach volleyball tonight on BBC One.
For sale, 400 jars of mayonnaise would suit the sort of person who's not that fussed by best before end dates.
For sale, 1 pack of polos, unopened. Mint condition.
Sperm donors wanted. Please come quickly.
For sale, horse would make excellent pet. Or pate.
Wanted. Someone to kill my dad, so I have an X Factor backstory.
Lost. Boomerang. Last Thursday. Somewhere... Oh, no, it's coming back to me now.
For sale, dwarf jacuzzi. Could also be used as a foot spa.
For vasectomies, liposuction and all small cosmetic operations, call Phil, the overambitious tree surgeon.
Cleaning lady, £8 per hour, or until lady is clean.
Wanted. Special lessons.
Do you want your house to smell nice and spice up your sex life? Then why not try Glade butt plugins?
Goodbye, Dad. Rest in peace. And perhaps if you hadn't gambled away all our money, this would be in obituaries.
Wanted. New subject for scenes we'd like to see.
The next topic is...
OK, here we go. The first subject is things you wouldn't hear at a school assembly.
OK, today we're going to have a special outing. So, Miss Williams, if you'd like to tell everybody why you're a lesbian.
We welcome a new member of staff today. He has no arms and no legs and no body, and we will call him the Head.
Would whoever's milkshake is bringing all the boys to the yard, please stop it.
I'm sorry to keep you waiting, boys and girls. I've just had a shit the size of a baby seal.
If you are found in possession of cocaine, you will be given 100 lines. No, wait.
And today in the after-school club, we're going to be using paper mache to make a mother that actually loves you enough to pick you up at 3 o'clock.
I'm delighted to say that during the summer holidays, Mr. Wang married Miss Kerr. His nickname will remain the same.
A wise man once said, boys and girls, that if you try your hardest, you can fulfil your dreams. Generally, that's true. Not for you, though, Tom. You can't read. So...
And today, everyone, we have a new boy. Now, for some reason, whatever reason, he's been to a lot of schools, so be kind to him. Will you please make your way to the front? Richard Poo Willie.
A word about registers. Most of the staff are on one.
So that is how you put on a condom. But, sir, shouldn't you have used a cucumber? Not with that E. coli kicking around.
Sorry I'm late. I just had a bit of a run-in with an interactive whiteboard. It told me to fuck off.
I've had all your mums.
The next topic is on lighter things to hear on a TV talent show.
Tonight, I'm going to be climbing a SIP ladder.
You're right. I can't sing. Thanks.
I'd like to dedicate this song to a friend of mine who was run over last week and is in hospital. The wheels of the bus go round and round, round and round.
I've got an ability that no one on this planet has. That's Ant, that's Dec.
It was like Elvis was in the building. You're fat and there's a stench of death.
Oh, Peter, it's not what everyone would call entertainment, but you are one hell of an assassin.
I thought you hit the high notes really, really well. Be interesting to see if you can still do that when I haven't got your nuts in a clamp.
Hello. Where's my double act partner? Oh, he's in here. Feeling nothing more than feeling. Trying to fall.
When you said you were going to ride a donkey...
Yes, I have been on the show before. I was once trapped in somebody else's underpants, going, feeling.
That was an exceptional performance, and the way that you have overcome your blindness is truly inspirational. But this is a chip shop, the X Factor audition.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think you're all terrible, OK? All of you, you're completely dreadful. I don't know what you're doing. Especially you, Hasselhoff. What have you done since Baywatch?
And as well as that, I can unzip the top of my head. It's where I keep my pyjamas.
I know you said you were a Gary Glitter tribute act, but we weren't expecting you to do that.
On
Unlikely things to hear on a history documentary.
The Russians had Lemsip. The Americans had night nurse. This was the Cold War.
And it was in this humble florist that the War of the Roses began.
Guy Fawkes' bid to blow up the Houses of Parliament failed when he realised his body was made of jumpers and his head was an old football.
Tonight on Bruce Forsyth's History of Britain, Boadicea, Decea Bode!
Horatio Nelson, one arm, one eye. A tragic example of what can happen if you fall asleep and someone finds your organ donor card.
Welcome to Biggest Historical Boobs with me, Katie Price.
Tonight, I intend to find out exactly what did happen to Hitler's other ball. And my search begins right here in the Albert Hall.
And on Time Team tonight, we're in Stratford on Avon, where we've uncovered loads of monkey skeletons and some typewriters.
When Hitler started writing Mein Kampf, he intended it to be a light-hearted romp called Carry On Camping.
John F. Kennedy, Indira Gandhi, John Lennon. If history teaches us anything, it's that if you don't want your child assassinated, don't name them after an airport.
To be honest, I'm not interested in all this old nonsense, really, but since the end of Blackadder, the work's been fairly hard to come by.
It's hard to believe that this crumbling old ruin presented weakest link for as long as she did.
Of course, the Bronze Age was the third best age in history.
And now the documentary that every Channel 5 commissioner has dreamt of. Did Hitler sink the Titanic?
We've been digging in this field in Hampshire for 3 weeks, and we've found this one piece of crockery, which tells us we desperately need to get laid.
OK, the next topic is unlikely things to hear over a tannoy.
We apologise to customers who have recently alighted at Northampton. I opened the wrong doors.
Could all the people shopping here at Asda please accept that you are piss poor?
Clean up required in the magazine aisle between loaded and nuts.
Would the parents of the lost child please pick him up from the meeting point? Madonna is trying to buy him.
I'd like to remind customers that our special offer this week is 100% off German bean sprouts.
If you would like to upgrade to first class, then you should have worked harder at school and got a better job.
Could the small boy holding the owl stop running at the wall between platforms 9 and 10?
Would the man on pump number 4 please remove the nozzle from the backside of the man on pump number 6?
Could the owner of the Ford Fiesta 1100 in the car park with the tinted windows and the go faster stripes sort your life out, mate, will you?
I can't remember what the code is. Would Mr. Fire please report? Please report to the kitchen. That's Mr. Out of Control Fire. Please report to the kitchen before it's too late. I don't want to start a panic.
train now approaching platforms 3, 4 and 5 is the derailed train from Swansea.
Would the owners of a black Jaguar please move it as it's attacking the customers?
This is your captain speaking. You can now turn on your mobile phones as you'll need to text your loved ones goodbye as they plummet into the sea.
Unlikely lines from a superhero film.
Worry not, Procrastination Man is here. Where is everybody? What's with all the blood?
Catwoman, what did I tell you about not shitting in next door's garden?
I am Big Society Man. I could do it for you, but I'd much rather you did it yourself.
Prepare to meet a new breed of sex-change superhero in the X-Men.
Yes, I do believe a man can fly, but only if he's carrying under 100 mils.
I am Parking Review Man. Where's my check?
Wow, Iron Man, how did you get all the creases out?
Just call the police.
Is it a bird? Is it a plane? Well, if you don't know that, what the hell are you doing in air traffic control?
What use is a spider's web against me, Duster Man and Hoover Boy?
Hello, I'm Batman Begins.
I'm sexist, I'm racist, and I drive like an arsehole. I am White Van Man.
Should I do...
Yeah, you're doing it. This is part of it.
Oh, shit. Okay, the next topic is unlikely things for a continuity announcer to say.
And now, to upset children everywhere, it's Peppa Pig in pepper sauce.
Oh, God. Oh, God. And Nigella will be back at the same time next week.
Up next, Ryan Giggs appears on Footballers' Wives.
Next up on Channel 4, live from Switzerland, it's Come Die With Me.
And now for a special episode of Planet Earth, where 6 chimpanzees will watch David Attenborough have sex.
And now is the time I have to be extremely careful, because the next programme is about Roald Dahl, genius behind Willy Wanker's Chuck Bollard.
Next on the History Channel, World War II in colour. Look away if you don't want to know how it ends.
Just to clear up some confusion for our regular viewers, ITV 2+1 is not the same as ITV3.
First, though, there's a serial killer on the loose in Balamory.
If you've been affected by some of the issues in EastEnders, they must have been acting it better than they usually do.
And now, Gordon Ramsay's Kitchen Nightmares for the hard of hearing.
You're watching the Dignitas channel. For God's sake, don't press the red button.
Next up, it's Bargain Hunt, which is also rhyming slang for the bloke who presents it.
Right now, Kate Humble's in the lambing shed.
Oh. Unlikely agony aunt letters.
Dear Deirdre, I have recently become obsessed with a woman and begun stalking her. Look out of the window.
My partner won't give me oral sex, which is really annoying, because that's the only reason I formed the coalition with him in the first place.
My wife says I don't feel anything, which is a problem. And there was something else. Oh, yes, I'm on fire.
I'm 26, my girlfriend's 36. Is 10 years too big an age gap? Because her daughter's 16, she's a right little soul.
I have recently met a woman who makes me feel young again. She's 167.
Dear Deirdre, I'm from Nigeria, and I'm fed up of Nicky Flanagan mocking my accent.
Dear Auntie, I'm a very, very nervous person, and sudden noises really startle me. In fact, even if I hear a buzzer, a bit of wee comes out.
My mates are all getting into drugs, but I don't know what to do. Should I charge them mates rates or just normal prices?
Dear Deirdre, I am a control freak. What should I do? I'll tell you what I should do.
I am 96, but I'm convinced that young women fancy me. Do I have penile dementia?
I've been wanting to come and see you for a long time, but I can't get out of the chair.
I am a man trapped inside the body of a woman. Could you tell us, please, how to get out of position 43 of the Kama Sutra?
I work in the public sector, and I'm really, really, really worried about my pension.
OK, the next topic is unlikely things to hear at Wimbledon.
Well, at 2 sets down, let's see what he's got in his locker. He's not going to be there for about 20 minutes. I've got a crowbar.
Serena Williams has been seeded. You've got to admire the bravery of that bloke.
Hello, I'm Sue Barker. You may remember my father, Chew Barker.
Well, they say that the All England Club is a bit behind the times, and that's why this small boy has just had his hand chopped off for stealing a strawberry.
I am a tennis umpire and gay, and it wasn't easy to come out.
What a fantastic slice, but I do think the All England Club will insist she wears knickers again next year.
Fuck off, Tim!
Well, how did the umpire get up there? I think he must have used a set bladder.
Of course, this year the British players play a lot better. If we look at this graph, we see huge biceps and an angry... Sorry, Steffi, wrong graph.
And for any of our Scottish viewers, what you can see there in that glass of Pimm's is fruit.
Andy Murray here. Andy Murray not being able to make it here today, but we do have his cab driver on the other line. Can you tell us what's occurred? I can't get out of the cab!
And the mound has taken a real pounding in the last fortnight. I think the All-England club are fine with it as long as it doesn't affect her tennis.
Unlikely questions from this year's exams.
Discuss the metaphysical meaning of the following poem. My friend Billy has a 10-foot willy.
Would you like this exam to be A, multiple choice, or not?
The Bronte sisters. Shag, marry, push off a cliff.
Discuss the following. The Nazis got all their ideas from the History Channel.
Who's the chap in the A team who would not get on the aeroplane? Was it A, B, or B, A?
If a bank loses £60 billion in a 6-month period, using numbers that you've plucked out of thin air, work out what the chief executive's bonus will be.
Napoleon, a small man or a long way away?
Quantify n in terms of q when q is a positive integer that dissects a parabolic curve. How's your lucky pencil case now?
What's the name of that round thing that they throw in the Olympics? Discuss.
Poetry.
Is it all a bit gay?
Draw a diagram of the genitalia of the male elephant. Use all 30 sheets of paper provided.
Biology. Without singing, what is the knee bone connected to?
Explain the use of juxtaposition in Macbeth. Alternatively, write down everything you know about Macbeth in a blind panic because you've got no idea what the word juxtaposition is.
Drama. Question 1. What was it that first made you want to become a waiter?
What is your PIN number?
OK, the next topic is unlikely things to read on a motorway sign.
For Middlesbrough, take the exit marked hell and then lose the will to live.
Accident. You were one. Love, Mum and Dad.
When lights flash, dogging is about to start.
There may be trouble ahead. Prepare to face music and dance.
You are now 200 metres beyond the junction that your piece of shit sat-nav is telling you you're approaching now.
For those of you looking for more safety tips, text now.
Beware, giant scissors coming towards you along the dotted lines.
Turn on lights in tunnel. They're on the right, just above the entrance.
Turn off the sat-nav. Use the force, Luke.
The North, where the men are real men, and so are quite a lot of the women.
If you can taste this sign, it means you've crashed into it.
Throw banana skin behind car now. Super Mario and Diddy Kong approaching from rear.
There was a young man from Preston who tried to drive to Heston. The sign wouldn't rhyme and he ploughed into the back of a juggernaut.
Pick us up a pint of milk, Tell. Thanks, Trace.
The subject is junk food. Russell.
Hello. Am I allowed to take this out? Or do I have to...
Go for it.
Slick. There was an amazing thing the other day. Apparently 15% of 2 to 11-year-olds in England are now obese, and the government's going to ban telly adverts of junk food till 9 o'clock so the kids can't watch. And you find yourself screaming at the telly, if your 2-year-old's obese, that isn't telly's fault, that's your fault. How can you possibly ban the adverts? Ban your fanny until you can look after what plops out of it. That is unbelievable. There's ways and means. My dad invented something, right, to make us eat our dinner. My sister would never eat it. She was like, no, it looks disgusting, Dad, no way to eat it, right? My dad invented something called the dinner witch. So, my sister was like, it looks disgusting. My dad would wink at me. I'd pop outside, ding-dong on the doorbell. My dad would then look into my sister's 8-year-old face and go, oh, Kerry, who could that be? During dinner time, with your plate still so full. I don't suppose it could be the dinner witch. At which point, my sister would like, slick.
Protest marches. Who's up first? Any come in and protest?
Yeah.
Russell.
OK. The only protest march I went on the Countryside Alliance March. I'm not pro or anti-fox hunting. I just quite like watching posh people get beaten up. I know it's wrong, but if you can find me a more glorious noise than then I'll happily listen. Come on, it's going to be fun, isn't it? And it's just so much fun baiting right-wing people. What do you think about fox hunting? I'll tell you what I think. If we didn't chase the fox, the entire bloody country would be overpopulated by foxes. Is that what you want, some hideous land of the foxes? Me, unable to leave my house and fear a fox wandering up to me, stabbing me in the gizzards? Is that what you desire? Looking across my lawn to see fox upon fox, prowling along my paddock, flicking the V's at me, walking hand in hand with asylum seekers? Is that what you want?
OK, the topic is air travel. Who wants to come in on that?
I'll do that.
Russell.
My favourite story about air travel, there was a bloke a little while ago who got put in prison for 3 days because he refused to stop kissing his boyfriend on a plane flight to South Africa. How magic's that? You can't help but picture him dressed entirely in latex, you know, surrounded by a sea of Burberry on an EasyJet flight. All right, lads, I'm going to make this tense for you. Ramon, let's do the bad thing. Do you want to stop doing that? I'm trying to read Nuts magazine. Whatever. Stop doing that. It's not natural. You're flying.
The subject is leisure. Who wants to come in on that? Russell.
I don't quite know how that signifies leisure. How has that old man got her? That's a joke. Anyways, we've got more disposable income now than ever, right? And this is quite an odd story, but my mum recently bought a hot tub. Now, I don't know if anyone else... It's quite exciting when your mum gets hot. She put it at the bottom of the garden, you get quite giddy, and then you're in it, and then you realise you're actually just outside having a bath with your mum. And it's a very... You've got no recollection of how to behave, right? And I've got a slightly lazy eye, so my mum's like, are you looking at my thighs? No. It gets freakier. My dad jumped in, my brother jumped in, my sister jumped in, and 2 of our family dogs leapt into the pool, right? So we're all on the edge, like really British, terrified, we're all naked. Dogs are just going around like that. Having the time of their life, right? And my mum just chose this moment to embarrass us, just looked up and went, hey, guess what? Well, she wasn't doing a dog impression, that would have been weird. Right? She went, guess what everyone in this hot tub's got in common? I don't know, Mum, what? That's a dog hitting me, right? My mum looked up and went, everybody in this hot tub has sucked my tits.
OK, the first subject is street protesters. Can I have a volunteer talk about that?
I'll do that, Dara. nation. So, I love street protesters, they're fantastic. The best I saw, there's a lovely old lady who, since the war in Iraq started, she stands outside the Bristol Hippodrome with a big sign that says, "Toot if you're anti-war." And if you drive past her and go, "Ha," she does this. Now, I'm not sure, I've made her leap many times. I don't know if I'm anti-war or really pro-pensioner leaping. You know, when you kind of go, "Why am I doing this? Ha, stop it! Ha, do it!" They're everywhere, they're brilliant. There's a bloke that I saw the other day, you know, one of those religious godbotherers, it's fantastic, just with a loud hailer, just pointing at people running, "You're going to hell, you're going to hell, you're going to hell." Everyone was freaked out, two goths delighted, that's a separate issue, but... He pointed at me and I was freaked out, and then he did something wonderful. He pointed at this really strutting black guy. I don't know why the fact that he's black made it cooler, but it really did, right? Pointed at it, went, "You're going to hell." Without missing a beat, this bloke just went, "No, mate, HMV." And he just sat there going, "Oh, oh."
Well done, Russell Howard. The next topic is the body beautiful. Who wants to come in on that?
We come in all shapes and sizes, don't we? Right. Good example, my mum has recently joined an under 5 foot club, you know. I'm not lying, you haven't seen a prettier sight until you've seen a load of tiny ladies sat around a table, their feet barely touching the floor. Sat there, because they're all under 5 foot, convinced they've got the same things in common. They haven't, right? The only thing they've got in common, when you hoover near them, they don't have to lift their legs. That's pretty much it, right? And there's a really amazing old lady there called Sue, who's about 80, and she's got a prosthetic hand. Now, we got chatting, right, and when she first went to school, the state of prosthetics was so poor, she actually went to school with a full-size man hand. As if your first day at school isn't terrifying enough. We're going to get bullied. There's your hand. You'll grow into... What do you mean I'll grow into it? I'm a little girl, I'm not Gordon Banks. What's that?
There's Russell Howard. Men's health is the next top, as represented by the knee. The window on the man's soul, the knee.
Well, we've all been there, let's be honest. Jesus. And it's got quite a nice pant ferret there, which is a bit of hair. Never mind. Hey, we all call it our pan ferret, don't we, children? Men's health, basically, it's quite an embarrassing story. Because it's terrifying when you go to the doctors, and you're so scared. I turn into a 6-year-old boy. I'm totally unable to explain what's wrong with me. I'm like, doctors like that, "What's wrong with you? Who did this to you? Dragons." And you're sat there, terrified. 3 times in my life, I've been convinced I've got testicular cancer. Every single time, it's been an ingrowing hair. It's, yeah, funny. It's getting to the stage. I need something terminal just to stop me looking like a massive pervert. You know, there's no way of getting comfy when you're having your balls checked, because the doctor's like, "Obviously, my balls aren't that big." If you sat there and go, "Well, you do appear to have a problem, Mr. Howard. You appear to have camel's gonads." But you don't know where to put your hands, you know? You can't sort of do that or anything. I toyed with the idea of doing that firmly. I wish I'd been courageous enough just to go... But I didn't. I sat there like a timid T-Rex as my penis gently shrunk. And it's horrible, because the only good thing about going to the doctors is the ladies' magazines. You know, it's always the same. "I found love in Falaraki." The most orange woman you've ever seen. Like morph in a frock, clinging on to some terrified waiter. "He gives me love 24/7. Cut your own fish fingers, Darren. He's a keeper." You're literally flicking through. When you get to the middle, that's when it gets properly ridiculous. There's always some woman staring at that. "There's a ghost in my womb." I was walking downstairs. It flew out me vulva. It were Henry VIII. And that's the only good thing about going to the doctors.
Thank you very much for your time. The subject is national identity. Who wants to come forward? Russell.
Thank you. We're told to worry about national identity all the time. Like, Gordon Brown seems to be obsessed with British values. Have you noticed that? Kind of preaching British values. What are British values? Ultimately, we're all embarrassed and we laugh at stuff we shouldn't. That's pretty much it, isn't it? It's that forbidden giggle. You know when you're not allowed to laugh, but all you can think about doing is laughing. It's like when you see an old lady get hit by a frisbee. You know it's wrong. You know? The last time I saw that flag, it was a football game. England were playing Croatia, right? In Croatia, there was a bloke holding up the flag, right? Into which he'd sewn the words, "Go home, asylum seekers!" And you're like, how middle class a hooligan are you? You're into bigotry and embroidery.
Good man, well done, Russell. First topic is transport. Russell's straight in.
Hello. I had a car crash the other day. It was horrific. I hit this lady. She was in a car. She wasn't dressed as a bollard. It was so bad because I hit her and then I sort of walked out to say sorry. And how unlucky is this? She was staring at me with real fear. For some reason that morning, I decided to wear a Grand Theft Auto T-shirt. Now, there's no way you can make that worse unless you've got a beer in one hand and go, not again. I've really got to buy a steering wheel.
Subject is the media. Who wants to come into that? Russell.
I'll do that. I'd see, you know, the way I like getting the news is Radio 5 Live. It's fantastic, 'cause it's just news and nutters, isn't it? They'll read out, like, that was the Pope's view on abortion, and then, hello, Felicity Puddleduck here, livid and ill-informed. I'd just like to say those harlots should give birth to their children aged 2 that charge you to national service. I'm off to bake a cake. And sat there listening, and then the next night, David, are you out of your mind? Cloning? Think it through. 2 versions of me. Want to go out and commit a crime? Who gets blamed for it? Me! I'm doing a 20 string. He's banging my wife. Where's the justice? And you sat there listening to these nutters, and then the most ridiculous story. A man in Bristol's found the face of Jesus on a crisp. And suddenly, I couldn't believe it. I opened up my frazzles. There he was.
Russell Howard. The subject is charity. Who wants to come into that? Russell.
It's, cheer if anyone's ever given clothes to Oxfam. Fair enough. You whooped then. Woo, do we win a prize? No. It's a really odd feeling because you feel quite proud of yourself. Just where am I going? I'm off to save Africa. That's right. And you wander in, you just plop down your clothes. Always some lovely lady, bung it anywhere. And there's a tiny part of you that gets really annoyed. You almost want to go, right! Well, we'll do that again, shall we? And this time you're going to act like you give a shit. It sounds bad, but there's a tiny part of you that wants to go, Sire, he brings goods. The chosen one has arrived. As you fling pants at orphans. Yippee, hurrah, will you ever be back in time, you needy tinkers, banana dance?
Russell Howard. The first subject is homelessness. Who wants to come into that? Russ.
I had a really great incident with a homeless bloke the other day. That sounds fairly dodgy. It was really, it's weirdly uplifting. So I gave him £1 and I was kind of walking away and he went, "Oi, mate, I've got a magic dog." Now that is a sentence that buys you half an hour with me, right? And he had sick all down him, this dog, right? And the homeless bloke had sick down him as well. And I was like, "What happened?" And he went, "Oh, we was asleep in a skip and some bloke chucked up on us." It's the most depressing thing you've ever heard. And he just looked at me and went, "No, it was amazing." Like, really? Why is that? And apparently what he did, still covered in sick, he stood up in that skip and just went, "Ah!" So this bloke was so drunk he thought his vomit had come alive. That man will never, ever drink again. Beer, Dave, it comes alive! It comes alive! Lovely moment. Well done, Russell.
The subject is the West Country.
I'll say this.
Who? Russell.
How can you not love the West Country? I've genuinely seen graffiti in Bristol during the last Tory campaign. Do you remember, are you thinking what we're thinking? Somebody had written underneath it, "Is it, do I like what's-its?" It's phenomenal. Just wonderful, isn't it? I used to live there. I've moved away from Bristol because I was near a dogging site, which is just a bit odd, right? And, all right, I wasn't into it. I was just near a dogging site, right? And I was talking to my friend. I was like, "Jane, why do they do dogging near the house, right?" And she looked and went, "Apparently, you got really great views of the Clifton Suspension Bridge." And you're like, "Well, you've got faith in humanity, haven't you? Just the idea that some... I tell you what, it's only when you're doing the nasty in a Cortina that you can truly appreciate the work of Isambard King of Brunei. That, my friend, is craftsmanship. Shall we? Wonderful.
Thank you very much, Russell. The next topic is the media. Who wants to come in? Russell.
I'll do that. I think the papers are making this country a worse place to live. Don't you feel like that? Just the unremitting horror of the Daily Express. They also just get rid of news and just have every day, "Don't go outside! It's full of queers, blacks and
and crime. Oh, if only Diana was here. And just sort of sat there going, come on. But they're all the same, you know? They're all the same. The Daily Mail every day. Asbo's Muslim speak, camera, Asbo's Muslim speak. The Sun, are you a pedo? Are you a pedo? Have a bang on her tit 16 today. Are you a pedo? You know? The Independent, you try and read it, it's like it's grabbed you by the throat. Are you recycling? Are you? You just killed a polar bear! You! All the while, the Guardian's in the corner fanning itself with a wall chart. You silly little things. Tell 'em, Telegraph. Cricket! Cricket! Too much.
British society.
Thanks. There's a lot of idiots about, aren't there? I was in a sauna the other day with some men, which, you know, let's forget about that part of the story, but there was this bloke who was just sat there going, I tell you what, this country's gone to the dogs. 5 years' time, guarantee it, this country, Sharia law. Everywhere you look, Sharia law. And his mate went, yeah, but the thing is, right, under that law, you can have 4 wives. And this bloke suddenly went, really? And you're like... Make your mind up, mate. You Sid James or Enoch Powell. They're everywhere. Titties, ha-ha. He went mental. 4 wives. Imagine the fun I'd have. 1 for every day of the week. It's wonderful when you see bigotry slapped, isn't it? I was on a train the other day. There was a bloke sat here, let's call him a dick, who was sat opposite a man of foreign persuasion, just go, why don't you go home, mate? Why don't you go home? And this hero looked back at this bloke and went, I am. That's why I'm on the train.
Next topic is drugs. Who wants to come in on that? Russell.
Good laugh, mate. I get offered drugs loads. I was at Glastonbury this year, right? And this bloke came up to me, he was like, oh, mate, do you want some shrooms? And you're quite tempted, because everyone's like, it was amazing, man. Had a chat with the tree. Good guy. He was called Nathan. You'd love him. We could play racquetball Thursday week. What a chap. But you know, if you took mushrooms, you'd be the one who would have the story that would end up on the front page of the papers. Do you know what I mean? I killed a lollipop lady. She wouldn't let me lick it and I killed her. So in the end, right, it's really embarrassing. I had 3 packets of Starburst just shoving in front of my tummy, like, nom, 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 nom. And I was like, my guts totally gave way. And this lovely old lady came up to me and was like, are you all right? Now, you've never known being truly pathetic until you've looked into the eyes of a kind stranger and gone, I've eaten too many sweets.
And the topic is relationships. Who wants to come in on that? Russell.
Britain, I have sexual advice for you. That's right. When I was 18, I used food in the bedroom. Now, don't ever do it. It didn't go well, right? I used Rolo yoghurt. And rather than tell... Yeah, exactly, right? Rather than tell my then-girlfriend what I had planned, I pretty much waited for her like some hideous yoghurt goblin, right? Now, I doubt there's anything more terrifying than coming home to find me naked, holding yoghurt, going, yeah, right? And I panicked, and rather than putting a little bit on, I pretty much basted her, right? By the time I'd finished, she looked a bit like Morph. You're sat there. I created an angry meal. You don't know where to start licking. You don't want to lick randomly, then she looks like she's got an illness. So, I did foot up to knee. That took me an hour. And hours, I was just... She looked like an angry gingerbread lady who'd had her leg dipped in Tippex, right? It didn't end there. I was like, I can't help you. The door opened, one of my dogs ran in and started licking the other leg. Never use food in the bedroom.
Thank you very much, Russell Howard. OK, the topic is human behaviour.
Some things you can't help doing. Do you find this? Like, if you get a cold can of Diet Coke, it's not enough for you to go, that is freezing. You have to find somebody you love and put it on their face. You can't... You don't do that with any other food. This soup's boiling in your eyes, but for some reason you become a fizzy torture. All right, Mum, Fanta to the knee! We're all fairly peculiar. Sometimes you think weird thoughts. I was in Tesco the other day. I was offered a bag for life, and I found myself going, I can't commit to that. You know? I don't know what bags are going to be like in the future. I feel like a tool if I got a plastic one in 2024. People go, I've got a new bag. It packs itself and speaks Spanish. Piece of shit. What can you do? I can suffocate a child. That's all you're good for. He can speak Spanish. I can hurt your hands on long journeys.
Topic is families.
Well, families are quite peculiar. Mine are wonderful. I went to Brighton the other day, and my uncle was like, watch out, it's full of gays, and they'll get you. They'll get me. They're gays, they're not ninjas. Not gonna... I'm so glad that I was raised by lunatics. I remember one of the weirdest stories I had happen to me when I was little. I was 8 years old. I was in Lanzarote. I just put some rubbish in a bin. I came around a corner and I was confronted by 2 werewolves, right? Turned out it wasn't werewolves, it was my mum and dad. Ah, ha, ha, isn't it hilarious? Not really, I've shat myself, right? But I've only recently found out they did not buy the wolf masks in Lanzarote. They bought them in England, which is beautiful and chilling at the same time. Look what I've got, David. Couple of wolf masks. You know, you don't like wolves, don't you? Captain Shitterbrick next door. Well, let's put him on now, scare him. Can I hold you just there, David? Can I wait until we're in a foreign country, get him really out of his comfort zone, and then properly shit him out?
Families. Well done, Russell. The next topic is education. Who wants to come in on that? Russell.
I remember school being fun. I think my favourite moment ever in life, pretty much. There was a girl in our school called Lydia. She was trying to make her calculator work. She was repeatedly knocking it against the desk. And after about an hour, our teacher went, Lydia! How would you like it if I banged you against the desk? It's the greatest day of school. But now it's more sinister, isn't it? Like, they're now talking about teaching 5-year-olds sex education. Of course, people are very angry. It's disgusting! It's too much! You're like, calm down. I'm not going to teach them technique. Right, this is how I like to do it, kids. That's right. Kids aren't going to run home, put dolls around a toy car and go, look, Mum, they're dogging, they're dogging. It's going to be some poor teacher trying to talk to 5-year-olds about love. Can you imagine a harder job? Hello, children. I'm here to teach you about love. Good luck with that, mate. I'm off to lick that tree.
Thank you very much, Russell. The subject, Russell, is etiquette.
It's like ladies with pointy breasts carrying books in a weird way. I'm really socially awkward. I met Jonathan Ross the other day, got really excited. I was having a wee backstage at a gig, and he went, you're thingamajig, aren't you? And for some reason I went, I can be whoever you want me to be. Now, in a toilet, that is just a come on, you know? And with women, it's even worse. I was on a train the other day, and this lady went, excuse me, can you look after my bags whilst I go to the toilet? Now, in that situation, all you've got to do is go, yes. But for some reason, I panicked and went, you're not allowed to go, and it's in the station. So she sits down, going, fair enough, didn't realise you were the poo goblin. Horrible moment. The train wouldn't move. Eventually it did. I swear she looked at me and went, can I go now?
Thank you very much, Russell. The next topic is men's health. Who wants to come in on that? Russell.
I went to the doctors recently with anal issues. I thought I had cancer, not I can't put my CDs in order. But it's a terrifying moment, right? So scary, because in your head, I'm going to die, I'm going to die. And I went there and I took down my trousers. Obviously, we had a chat first, and it just... I'm not very well. You see that, mate? This is a chip shop. You've never done it slower in your life. I was just peeling them down. I got them down to about there. Just heard his booming voice go, in the other room. You have a decision to make there. Do you pull them up or do you waddle with pride, right? You waddle, that's what you do. When you waddle, you can't help but giggle. The last thing you need is to be giggling is before a man's going to pop his finger in your Richard, because now you're a wiggling target, right? I'll be honest, when the finger goes in, you're not laughing anymore! You're like a red arrow! And that's the moment they chat. How you doing? Fine. When you draw the curtains, we've gathered quite a crowd. Look at that, it's Atrium Steps and he's getting violated. I'm Russell!
The next topic is the royal family.
Prince Harry's pretty spectacular, isn't he? He's wonderful. The Sun really can't make their mind up, because one minute the Sun, he's a war hero, next minute, racist. Make your mind up. We don't want him killing foreigners, but don't call them names. That appears to be the way they operate, you know? But there's something wonderful about Prince Harry. He must have a weekly show called These Are the Things I've Done. And we'd watch it, wouldn't we? Yeah, a couple of years ago, man, I shaved my pubes, put it on a swan, big wow. Next week... Next week, I'm going to light my farts and fondle a gibbon. Come on over! We love him because he's ferociously stupid. Think about it. He had 100 grand spent on his education, the finest education money could buy. He went to Eton, he got 2 A-levels. One's an E in geography, one's a B in art. Can you imagine that? Your dad has spent 100 grand on your education? I've done a drawing and I sort of know what a hill is. You know,
Next subject is rage.
no wonder that man's cross. He's stuck in a shuttlecock. Everyone's angry, though. I know the kids did really well in their A-levels. How do we respond? A-levels are getting easier. In my day, you have to do 50 questions in a minute. You got one wrong, they killed your dad. You know? All you hear is, this country's gone to the dogs. I'm fed up with this country. It's the worst country in the world. It's enough to drive you mad. Yeah, I bet there's some bloke in some war-torn African village as we speak just weeping. Why are you crying, mate? Is it because you've got no food, no money, no home? It is none of those things. Some people in England only have their willy bins collected once a fortnight. Is there no God?
The next topic is the consumer society.
It's all a bit much, isn't it? I went into a shop the other day that said, why not try a guilt-free wrap? You're like, don't make sandwiches evil. Sandwiches are lovely. The bacon sandwich, one of the loveliest things in the world. What is a bacon sandwich? Essentially, it's bread giving a dead pig a cuddle. It's a lovely thing. I love you, Mr. Pig. Why do the Jews hate me? It's lovely. I was really down about it, and then I saw this wonderful thing that I think could only happen in the West Country. The bloke behind the counter in this shop yawned. The bloke in front of him, who did not know him, popped his finger in his mouth and went, ooh, yawn rape, and I nearly died. I had never seen a yawn rape, and now you've learned about it, you can't not do it. You'll be on a bus, you'll see an yawn rape, you can't help. Did the bloke behind the counter headbutt him? No, he didn't. The bloke behind the counter giggled and went, it's a good job I didn't fart, wasn't it? And you're sat there going, well, the world is a better place.
Thank you very much, Russell. That's fitness.
Could have been camel toes. Now, I was in the gym the other day. I was in a locker room, and a 5-year-old boy ran in and jumped into a locker. Now, sometimes you know you're just going to have an incident, right? You could hear him in there giggling, like, and you knew what he was going to do. He was going to jump out and scare his mates, because his mates appeared seconds later, like, where's Stephen gone? Where's Stephen? He was there a minute ago. This is most irregular. Huh? And he waited, not for his mates, but for 3 huge naked men. It was fantastic. They were kind of walking past, and this little kid leapt at those men like a cat with rabies. It was incredible, right? Just from nowhere, the noise they made, I've never heard a noise like it. They sounded like a tugboat getting molested. It was like, His long-suffering dad is in the showers, obviously heard this and went, that'll be my bloody boy! Ran back, confronted this glowing hellbeast and went, Stephen, what have I told you about acting up in public? And this little kid cut his dad down with one very simple sentence. Dad, your willy's moving? You're just there going, oh, the world is a better place.
The subject is young people. Russell.
Funky young people. You know, it's depressing being hit. I saw this the other day, it nearly killed me. It's a kid who was about 8 years old in a cafe with his mum. He went, here, Mum, doesn't matter how many of these you eat. He was eating a fun-sized Mars bar. Doesn't matter how many of these you eat, it never leads to fun. How depressing is that? Do you want a happy meal? Life is suffering, Russell, life is suffering. It shouldn't be like that when you're 8. When you're 8, you should be excited about the world. Can you remember the first time you saw a rainbow? Can you remember the giddy delirium in your mind? You're like, Dad, there's colours in the sky. I like the sky, I like colours, the two are combined, my mind is literally blown. I need answers, big man, I need answers. Well, that sun is called a rainbow. Oh, my God, it has a name, it has a name. This day can get no better. There's a pot of gold at the end of it. And it's guarded by a tiny leprechaun. Pull over, Dad. Pull over right now. Has anyone ever chased a rainbow? I did. You never forget it. I bet you didn't do this. Me and my little brother took a knife just in case the leprechaun acted up, right?
Thank you very much. That's up.
We play a round called Happy Birthday, Paul McCartney. This game involved Joe, Milton and Carl. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch a wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest, OK? Here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is retail. Can I have somebody come in and talk on that? Joe Coffett.
Tesco's have announced that they are going to overhaul their shops by employing more staff, which is great because the self-scanning doesn't work, does it? It's just a row of angry people shouting at machines. Just going, but there's nothing in the bagging area. I've removed it from the bagging area. Do you know what's in the bagging area? A friggin' bag. What a surprise. And also, I have to say, though, sometimes a person isn't better, right? I was at Tesco's at the checkout with a person at the checkout, and just by mistake, instead of the Tesco club card, I handed over my Sainsbury's Nectar card. The woman at the checkout in Tesco's, no word of a lie, she looked at the Sainsbury's card, she put it down, she then looked at her own badge. Just to go, maybe she's right, maybe I do work in Sainsbury's. So the shopping came to £3.76, so I gave her £5 and a penny and then stood back and watched her head explode. And another shop, Abercrombie & Fitch, they were famously sued in America because they had a policy of only employing young, very attractive people. I thought, do you think Argos has the exact opposite policy?
Thank you very much, Joe Coffey. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is health. Who wants to come in that? Carl.
Right. I suffer from recurring stomach problems, which sometimes lead me into quite embarrassing situations. One happened when, about 2 years ago, I went to see Alicia Keys live in concert at the O2 Arena. That's not the embarrassing bit. En route to meet friends to go to the show, I stopped off with my doctor to get a little checkup, and he said it was all fine, but he wanted a stool sample, so he gave me a little pot and said, do your sample, drop it in the morning. So I put it in my bag and then went to meet friends for a drink before the show. About half an hour passed, I felt movement. I thought, I better do it now, I've got to drop it in the morning. So I went to a pub toilet and I did my sample in a pot and put it back in my bag, went out, didn't tell my friends what I'd done, we just carried on drinking. About half an hour later, it's showtime. Went to the O2 Arena where I'd never been before to see Alicia Keys. And I reckon it was about 30 metres from the front of the queue where I found out about their compulsory bag search system. Have you ever tried to explain to a security guard why you're trying to smuggle a stool sample into an Alicia Keys concert? It's pretty tough. When he pulled it out, I've never heard more shock on a man's voice. He just sort of went, what is it? Like that. And I freaked out and said the first thing that came into my head, so I went, it's a pot of shit. Like that. Which he then repeated louder, right? He just sort of went, a pot of shit! And it went back down the queue like Chinese whispers. About sort of 20 people back, I think I heard somebody go, I think there's a guy with a bowl of chips at the front or something. So I'm just there, totally embarrassed, didn't know what to do, I'm always crying. I explain my story. The guy gets his supervisor, who comes over, and this is a great response. I was honestly like, oh, I've got a bag, sorry. And he listens to all that and goes like this, he goes, all right, I believe you, you can keep it.
OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. The subject is relatives.
The scariest thing that ever happened to me in my entire life was when I was very little. My dad said, I'm just going to pop upstairs. And he went upstairs and he popped. I didn't speak to my dad. Well, he was a bus driver. You're not allowed to. My brother, he's allergic to cheese, not the taste. Just if anyone says the word, he goes, whoop. Doesn't happen very often, but we've got some weird family photos. My grandfather, he was a GI, and he was in the RAF. OK, he was a giraffe. During the war, when board games were illegal, he was put in prison for being a Yahtzee sympathiser. My uncle, he was a security guard at the O2 Arena.
We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Ellie, which category would you like?
Science, please.
Science, yes. Whoop! Science! One up our team. Your category is science. The answer is 7 months. What is the question?
Is it how old Princess Charlotte will be when the Daily Mail start commenting on her weight?
Is it how long does my nephew think I've been playing hide and seek with him?
Is it how long until Sepp Blatter gets bummed in prison?
Is it how old was Jack Whitehall when he first appeared on this programme?
Is it if I get a 30-second advert before a YouTube video, how long does that feel?
You can't always skip. You can't always skip. Some of them you have to prove you're over 18 as well. It's a nightmare.
Is it, if I was in charge, what would be the prison sentence for saying chillax?
Is it how long does it take to get to Glasgow on a megabus?
Yes, a megabus. I am the accepted
As if
face.
you've ever gone on a megabus.
I'm on every megabus, Pat.
Is it how long it takes Dara to start a sentence?
What's this? What are you going, Britain's Got Talent now? Is that what you're doing?
God, you really haven't got over that Britain's Got Talent thing.
Let
You
it go.
brought it up
Just
out of
let go.
nowhere 2 weeks in a row, Dara.
I will continue to until I hunt that man down and kill him. It wasn't the fact that he did it. It was the fact that it was a snippet that they chose in all the acts. They said, oh, they'd like 1 second from each act. And his was just him going, and the number underneath. 089888999.
I know, but...
There's more to me than that.
Is there?
No. Seemingly not.
Is it to avoid suspicion? How long is Mo Farah planning to run his next 10,000 metres in?
OK, can we move to the correct answer, please?
Is it how long it took for me to get over seeing my dad in the bath?
That's very quick, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
It took me 4 years.
Really? What are you doing looking at my dad?
Surely more the question is, what was your dad doing in his bath?
Friday night's Friday night.
It's to do with that thing on the comet.
That thing... That's your correct answer. It's to do with that thing
Is
on the
thing
comment.
I can't believe that this is the right answer.
Oh, my God. Go on.
It's basically, how long was the space probe that landed on the comet asleep for?
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Andy Parsons. Unlikely things to hear on Crime Watch.
So now we go back to the kidnap of Louis Spence. Police are repeating, if you have any leads, please keep them to yourself.
And now, Crime Watch appeal. Lend us a tenner. Go on.
Don't have nightmares. In fact, don't go to sleep at all in case somebody breaks in and murders you.
Police described the man as looking a bit like a penis, a bit like a sausage, and armed with a buzzer.
A woman appears to have robbed a dairy farm, making off with a bin bag filled with cottage cheese. Oh no, Kim Kardashian's got leggings on.
Do not approach this man. He is a professional counterfeiter. He even has the certificates to prove it.
And now a new programme, Spring Crime Watch. This week a badger tracks the bastard who tried to kill it.
Hello, and welcome to Crime Watch. Here's a crime. Let's watch.
Police say do not approach this man. He has an iPhone 5 and will not shut up about it.
And we're just getting news that the superglue prankster is still on the loose.
The case was closed in 1974 and police have never reopened it, mainly because they've forgotten the combination.
Police have described the man as being about 6 foot tall, curly brown hair, blue shirt, looks a bit gay.
Bang on.
Yeah. Did you see a policeman knock over a newspaper seller? No, you didn't.
This reconstruction starts with some sad piano music. Never a good sign, is it?
Have you seen anyone acting suspiciously? You were probably watching Hollyoaks.
Do you recognise this man? Neither do we. Oh.
Wait. Just try it.
I'm not going to be able to protect you.
Do you recognise this man? Neither do we, but apparently he's been on Celebrity Big Brother. I think that was worth it, don't you? Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
The first subject is rejected exam questions.
History. Did I delete it?
If cycling 10 miles a day uses up 400 calories, explain why Boris Johnson is still a fat bastard.
If the sun is 93 million miles away, how can that cost £32 in an Uber?
Where is Greece? Is it A, the southern Mediterranean, or B, up shit creek?
What does the French phrase déjà vu literally translate as?
Using examples of Michelangelo's work, write 500 words on why he was the best turtle.
What does the French phrase déjà vu literally translate as?
Question A. Media studies. Is it a real subject? Question B. Is it...
Using a compass and ruler, draw perfect cock and balls.
Is this a rhetorical question?
You may now commence your anal sex exam. Please turn over.
Explain how UKIP became a major force in British politics without using the word wanker.
If Jay-Z is unfortunate enough to have a problem with a bitch, how many problems does Jay-Z now have?
Aggravated violence, question 1. Why might you use a bit of rubber hose pipe? No marks.
What colour is this dress? White and gold or black and blue? Discuss.
If a train leaves the station at the correct time and arrives at its destination at the correct time, how cool would that be?
Chemistry, me, you. Is there any?
Okay, the next topic is unlikely things to say when running for US president.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and if you elect me the first female president of the United States, I promise you that on my first day in the White House, I will hire a very attractive male intern. He will be on his knees, not having sexual relations with me all day. Hashtag payback, hashtag long game.
I want to go to Washington. Why? I want to see what colour the White House is.
No, we can't!
The name Clinton is in the DNA of the White House. In fact, the DNA of Clinton are on the walls of the White House.
I know the value of family because I sold one of my children to pay for this campaign.
As president, I will welcome immigrants, because the White House is massive and it's not going to clean itself.
I will govern for all of this country. Not just the metropolitan cities on the coast, but also you cousin shaggers down south.
I would like to introduce you to my new Homeland Security advisor. Say hi, Lamb Chop.
Hi.
Come on, of course I'm the guy to succeed Obama. You know what they say? Once you go black.
If you elect me America's first colourblind president, I will do everything I can to uphold the values of the brown, white and green.
I would now like to talk to you people in a language of my own devising.
I want to put more boots on the ground in Afghanistan, and also 2 more branches of paper chase.
What you must remember is the people we need to convince are the great American people. And most of them are as thick as pig shit.
I'd like to apologise for Mr. Trump. Which is what I say when I've just farted in bed.
When I was little, I did not plan to be President of the United States. This is more like a holding job until I get to rule a good country.
I am American through and through. Cut me, and I will shoot you in the face.
I wish to have no secrets in this campaign. I wish to be completely open, and it is done. That is why I'm going to start that again, because I fucked that up.
We Republicans want to reach out to all Americans. Blacks, whites, Chinese-y-looking ones.
I want to have no secrets in this campaign, and that is why I have gathered you here tonight to tell you I shot JFK.
Okay, give that round of applause to Ed, Sarah and Andy. The answer is 1. What is the question?
Is it what grade of haircut can Andy Parsons only dream of? Is it, let's be honest, when does life start to go downhill?
Is it what does the... Wow.
Very depressing.
Yeah. I've got a lovely idea of your first words. What are you going to say, Frankie? Bleak.
Gina, which category would you like?
Entertainment news.
OK, entertainment news. The answer is 50 nights. What is the question?
Is it how long does it take me to successfully build an IKEA wardrobe?
Is it which themed disco evenings have the most restrictive age policy? 50 nights. No? Is it?
Is it how long before we get the right answer to this one?
Yeah. I think I've got the right answer.
No, don't do that. I haven't done a funny one yet. Stick around, right? Is it generally speaking what separates 51 days? You don't have to be rude.
My fundamental objection to the idea of a debate between the leaders is that it is an American idea. I can't bear the idea that it's an American idea. It's like one of those ideas that we've imported, like nobody has a school leavers disco anymore. They all have a high school prom, and they all turn up in little bow ties and a ball gown.
Know?
Because he's cruising around in an empty limo. Yeah, you like the hip-hop?
No, ladies.
Is it, when my wife and I did our IVF, how many abnormal sperms were found in my first ejaculate?
It's true. Yeah, we were all there. We had a lot of support. After this, we're all going to see Frankie as well.
I say my first ejaculate, it wasn't my... You know.
No, obviously it wasn't your first ever ejaculate. Because that would explain why it wasn't working till then.
I was told.
Oh, that! Oh, this! Yeah. Oh, we use this! Oh, we won't need you for a while, Doctor. We'll try with this first and then come back to you.
You know, it's a fly just landed on my hand.
Do you know what it is? It's Frankie.
Yeah.
Frankie's spirit has come back as a fly.
He's transmogrified.
He has, yeah.
We've been cursed. That's what it is. They've taken Frankie, now the flies are coming. What next, dear viewer? What next?
Make sure, no, these policies are always going to have problems, though, isn't it?
Oh.
You killed Frankie.
You killed Frankie is so... Oh, man, you really have flattened it.
And also, picketed by the Animal Liberation Front now.
We're building ourselves up to say, you know, we killed a fly or a jackal.
I didn't kill the fly.
Should
Suddenly it's a group of us have killed the fly.
Go.
Oh, come on, we were all there.
None of us spoke up to save the fly. Let's face it. The road to hell is paved with good intentions.
I didn't believe you were going to go through with the killing.
Yeah, but let's move on. Hello and welcome to Mock the Week. I'm Dara Breen. Joining me this week are Andy Parsons, Rod Gilbert and Russell Howard, Frankie Boyle, Hugh Dennis. We have done that hundreds of times. We never clapped there.
I'm not the real Frankie Boyle.
That's the happiest you've ever looked at that section.
I can't believe you did it. He started a spontaneous round of applause. That was professional courtesy. Well done, the other team. No, we genuinely have to do all that again.
It looked like you'd had some sort of ganja flashback. You're like, oh, happy day.
Can I just say in this photo, if you look at Nicolas Sarkozy there...
Yeah.
I'm just taking a break, man. I'm just taking a break to do this show.
If you realise the story behind this, but Dara's lost weight because he's been on the Irish version of I'm a Celebrity, which is set during the potato famine.
Sorry.
How much weight? We were all a bit worried when we heard about your weight loss. We were all a bit worried that you had AIDS.
Yeah, that was true.
No, we were genuinely worried because none of us wore a condom.
In fact, actually, we'll chat about that later.
How much weight have you lost, actually?
Who, me? Since I've been on here about 2 seconds.
I'm not Colleen Nolan. This isn't Loose Women. I'm not discussing weight loss on the show.
I was banned from Loose Women. They wouldn't have me on. Did you do Loose Women?
Really?
I wanted to, and they wouldn't. Guess who they got? Dar O'Brien.
Yes, the answer I was looking for was record-breaking Wimbledon final. This is the epic Wimbledon men's singles final between Roger Federer and Andrew.
Can I say?
What do you want to say as I'm doing that bit that I have to do?
No, I think I would have got that if they had put in the hyphen. But they didn't put in the hyphen,
so it should be
and I didn't get it.
All right, Captain Grammar, pipe down.
Would you like us to sit down one more time?
Oh, shut up! Every one of you, shut up for a second. There we go. I'm part of a film investment scheme. I put all my savings into the big budget production of Monsoon Poultry Hospital. I think it's right. Well, you're involved as well. I mean, because I play the role of Morag the nurse. Monsoon Poultry Hospital. I think we're going to make a lot of money back. It's me and you are involved.
Alfred Hitchcock. It's nice to know where the budget for this show goes.
I want to know, by the way, how well I look as a nurse. Surprisingly fitting. Big shoulders.
You've got a hint of the readers' wives about you there.
If you turned up at my bed in a hospital, I'd discharge myself.
Listen, I have no surprise, no doubt you'd discharge yourself. Is Jill Mackinson-Sanders, who's the mayor of a town called Loudon, Lincolnshire, who decided, as the torch was passing through her town, to dress up as one of the local products of the town of Loudon, Lincolnshire. The town of Loudon, Lincolnshire apparently is famous for its sausages. Here's how she tried to dress up to welcome the torch. She ran alongside the torch, as a giant penis down the street, screaming. He does not look like me. Nothing like my arms do not start above my chin.
I love that.
No, that's for
the 100th programme and the first time we've been heckled by the audience. You look like a penis sausage.
Well, what's been happening in Euro 2012? You have to tell me something about how good it is.
I don't have to tell you fucking anything.
Okay.
Apparently 1 million Britons go to work on drugs.
Yes, they do.
1 in 30 apparently test positive for drugs, and in some firms as much as 1 in 7. You know, so if you're looking round this particular panel, I've got to be honest, my money's on Milton.
Yep. The next topic is... Walk the fuck away.
Bloody peanut sausage!
Yeah. OK, can we move to the correct answer, please?
Is it how long it took for me to get over seeing my dad in the bath?
That's very quick, actually, isn't it?
Yeah.
It took me 4 years.
Really? What are you doing looking at my dad?
Surely more the question is, what was your dad doing in his bath?
Friday night.
Should be noted.
I'll tell you what it could be, honestly. What proportion of that team have I seen completely butt naked?
Yeah. We used to share a flat and I used to get bored and get in your bed.
I didn't live with Rob permanently. This is an Edinburgh Festival situation. I don't want people to think that we had actually cohabited on a permanent basis.
In other news, what have BBC bosses asked their producers to do this week?
BBC who's?
The BBC producers. Shall I do that again?
Oh, is this part of the story? It's about mumbling?
It's mumbling, yeah. All right, OK, don't point to a mumbler.
It was very clever how you gave us a clue.
Yeah, I play with the form. In other news...
Was it about forced enunciation?
It was about forced enunciation, yes, it was. Asked their producers to do this week. Yeah, it was about mumbling, all right? Not this show. This show's never been accused of it, despite me hosting it. But other shows...
Because what you don't know is at home they can press the red button and Stephen Fry pops up and translates it for everyone.
I'll go for politics, Dara, because I'm a clever boy.
You gosh, Swat. OK.
You're on the wrong show.
Yeah. OK, let's give it a go, shall we? Your category is politics. The answer is 4%. What is the question?
Is this the percentage of people who enjoyed a comedy gig I did in Greenwich in December of last year?
We've all had those shows.
Yeah, I was at that, and that was not 4%.
Is it how much of my foot could I fit into one of Josh Widdicombe's little shoes?
We can go, man.
A size 9.
Ladies.
For 9?
Yeah, children, so I don't have to pay VAT on my shoes.
I'll have you know those are the exact plimsolls that Nelson Mandela wore on his long walk.
That's the closest thing to a woman on this panel. Chris, is what Cameron said offensive? Speaking for the sisterhood.
I'm always be freaked out by megabus. It's not the weirdest thing in the world, the megabus. Nothing against the bus service itself, but when you drive, like you drive a lot of time on the motorway, going to gigs, like the back of the megabus when you're driving along, like for those of you who haven't had the pleasure, there's times you just get hypnotised by that weird. There are many things I've observed. Firstly, why does that man have such large breasts? Hours staring at that man's breasts going, that is insane. What kind of...
Where can you go for £1?
I thought you'd have to contact Megabus. There's an address there.
I'd have to put plus a 50p booking fee as if people are going to go, well, that's a rip-off.
The only thing really irritating about this for the entire... In my ear, constantly, people are going, wear the hat, wear the hat, wear the hat, wear the hat. Yeah, they gave me a yellow hat because they think I look like the Megabus guy.
That means that man looks like a penis sausage.
They should call it penissausage.com. Oh, something else is already called.
You're just bringing this up to try and make everybody forget that you look like a penis sausage. That's exactly what's going on here. You just look like a penis sausage in a yellow hat.
Oh, no! I have lost ownership of the joke now.
Somebody's got another new Twitter avatar.
Now we play a round called Wheel O News. This game involves Ed, Andy, Frankie and Joe. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is a stand-up challenge. Our random news generator contains a bank of topics. We spin the wheel, and when it stops, anyone can step forward and try to make us laugh about the subject it's landed on. The winner is the team I judge to produce the funniest material. OK, here we go. Let's have the first topic, please. And the first topic is that bullying? Who wants to come in on bullying? Ed.
I'll say bullying. Bullying, serious problem. Obviously, there's a lot of problems in the world, but it's OK, because wristbands are sorting them all out. Them ribbons were useless, but the wristband was on the case to save the day. But my favourite wristband is the anti-bullying wristband, because footballers like Wayne Rooney, people like that wearing it, that kids were getting beaten up at school for their anti-bullying wristband. And that's just beautiful. I'm just so glad that never happened to me when I was at school, because I could imagine myself trying to reason with the bully as he beat me up for my anti-bullying wristband. No, but that's my... Oh, the irony. You're only fooling yourself. You may take my wristband, but your actions will never mirror the sentiments it represents.
Well done, Ed. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is drugs. Who wants to come in with that? Andy.
So, drugs. The Home Office have in fact clarified, apparently, how many spliffs you can have on your person before you might be regarded as a dealer. Apparently, the answer is 500. That's a fair amount of personal use, isn't it? You would have thought you could have 500 almost anything on you and be regarded as a dealer. If I had 500 hobnobs on me, I think you could regard me as pushing biscuits. Not that I know that much about drugs, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, the current trend amongst young people is to have an upper followed straight away by a downer just to take the edge off it. Why not just take a bit less of the upper? That to me would be like having a Red Bull and then having a Horlicks straight away afterwards.
Well done, Andy. OK, that leaves us with Frankie and Joe. The next topic is... OK, living with terror. Who's going to come up on that?
Well, obviously, that's how my husband describes our marriage, but... how's the country been since the terrorist attacks here? Well, I mean, when I go out of London on tour, people are always saying to me, what's it like driving around London now? And I say, dunno, it's a bit hard to see out of my armoured personnel carrier. But, you know, I thought it was really important after all that happened to get sort of straight back on the tube and show solidarity with other Londoners. So 2 days later, went straight back on the tube, quite scared, got into the carriage, thought, oh, what's going to happen? But it was brilliant, actually. This bloke got up straight away and offered me his seat, which is fantastic, because I've never driven a tube train before.
Well done, Joe Brown.
I like the way that on that picture there, the dog's looking for something, the bloke's looking for something. It's on the top, the bloody idiots.
Frankie, let's see what topic you've been left with. Lucky you, it's the Labour Cabinet.
John Reid's got a stupid new idea. He wants to make criminals pay compensation to their victims. What if they've not got any money? And go to community service for them. Hey, I'm here to do your garden. Remember me? I murdered your husband. He's wanting to force through ID cards. Now, ID cards don't mean that your identity won't be stolen. It just means that once it's stolen, you're screwed. You know, I've left my wallet in the hotel. I'm going to need new eyeballs and a finger transplant.
Thank you very much, Frankie Boyle. I think the points go to Frankie and Ed on that round. Come back. Now we play a round called Boris Johnson and his Chamber of Secrets. This game involves Tom Allen and Milton Jones. If you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is school. Let's come on that. Tom.
Hello. I went to quite a rough school. I know. Isn't it moving? And it was a sort of school where people would come up to you and say things like, hey, you, do you want to fight, do you? Do you want to fight? Is that why you look at me like that? Yeah, you want to fight? Yeah, don't you want to fight? Don't you want to fight? And I'd always say, oh, no, thank you. But thanks for thinking of me. Those girls could be so cruel. And at my school, to avoid getting picked on, everyone had the same of everything. So everyone had, like, the same pencil case. It was a pencil case that was made to look like a packet of Walker's crisps. And in it, everyone had the same Oxford maths set, which is like a tin pencil case, which contained a ruler, maybe a foldable ruler for travel. a foldable ruler, which was great for underlining things, wasn't it? Until you got to the middle. Big bump in the middle. And a set square, which wasn't a square, was it? It was a triangle. And a compass. Oh, I'm glad I learned how to use a compass. Not a day goes by. It's a perfect circle. It's got a hole in the middle, but it's a perfect circle. And, like, when do you even get to use that math set? I mean, occasionally you'll get to do proper grown-up maths, or math as they call it in America, don't they? But we do it more than once. When you get to do things like trigonometry and SOHCAHTOA. Do you remember that? SOHCAHTOA, SOHCAHTOA. Do you remember that? SOHCAHTOA. That's a thing. SOHCAHTOA. Sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse. I mean, now, as an adult looking back, it would have been nice, wouldn't it, if they spent maybe half an hour or even just like 10 minutes, just 10 minutes going, this is a pension scheme. This is how you fill in a tax return. This is how you mend a broken heart. This is how you tell an estate agent to fuck off.
Thank you very much, Sean. OK, that leaves us with Milton. Let's see what your topic is. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is shopping.
Those reward cards are rubbish, aren't they? Got too many points on one of them, and now I'm not allowed to drive. It's really important if you buy something, of course, to read all the instructions. I don't know if you've ever tried to fill a baboon with helium. Prit is not the best lip salve I've ever used. But I couldn't complain. Southern Comfort tastes nice. Ordinary Comfort tastes like fabric softener. But at least your burps smell of summer meadows. When I was in America, I really got into the culture, so I went into a shop and the guy said, "Have a nice day," and I didn't, so I sued him.
And it's food.
Oh, OK. Oh, very similar topics. I once went to a buffet in Reading, and that's not even the joke. It was organised by a woman called Wendy, and it was so beige. It was so bland. It was like a buffet representation of Reading. I looked across this buffet, right? They put out sausage rolls, right? Sausage rolls, right? Where they just whipped off the cellophane and put the corrugated plastic straight down on the table. Like we were dogs! Then we had Scotch eggs, right? Scotch eggs cut into quarters. Apparently no one can eat a whole one. Then we had breadsticks displayed in a pint glass. I thought I was at a fucking UKIP rally. Then she starts putting down cold pizza slices next to wontons. No one's mixed Italian and Chinese cuisine like that since Marco Polo. Then she brought out the quadrant of dips. You know, the 4 dips. The 4 dips of the apocalypse. The white one. The other white one. Then there's a green one. What's that? Guacamole. Then there's a pink one. What's that made of? Sillet bang? I was just glad to have something made of some sort of colour. Anyway, it was a terrible buffet, but thank you very much, Wendy.
The topic is communication.
Not a good day today. No one turned up to the first meeting of my sarcasm club, despite loads of people saying how much they were looking forward to it. Do you ever do that thing when you're on the phone? You put it down.
No, you put it down.
No, you put it down.
Listen, you're a qualified vet and it's an old dog.
Do you know, it was so cold the other day in the city of Chester, when I ordered a taxi, I ended up in Chichester. The only bright point of the journey was seeing a car going the other way with a seatbelt round a kebab. My wife and I, we argue sometimes.
You've left the lid up, you've left the lid up.
Yes, but what if it's a man, the next person to use the toilet?
It's a pedal bin, it's a pedal bin.
It was her birthday recently. I took her to an orchard in Somerset. We stood for about 20 minutes. Not the Apple Watch she wanted.
Thank you very much. Look, the topic is exercise.
Also a picture of me. I'm not very good at exercise. I joined the gym. I joined Virgin Active because there wasn't a Virgin Passive. And I found the whole process very intimidating. Like, when you go in there, you're confronted with all the cardio area, like the cardio area. They call it cardio because that's where you go to have a heart attack. And then at the other end, they have what they call the free weights section, the free weights, which I have no business being in because it's for the bigger boys. The bigger boys go there all day. They're lifting things all day, trying to get big arms, trying to turn their arms into legs. And I think it all really started at school. Like, I didn't like doing PE at school. What would happen is, after assembly, one class would have to stay behind in the hall because they'd be doing gym. And I never found out who Jim was. The worst bit was if you had to use the apparatus! And the apparatus basically was this huge, terrifying cage which had to be buckled to the wall. It was so terrifying. And older children would have to come in who'd been trained by the army. And they'd come in and they'd untether its bonds, and they'd pull a lever and it would lurch out and it would swing out, and these huge, terrifying arms have to be buckled to the floor, otherwise it would just swing out and kill everybody. They had all these bars and ropes and chains. It was very much like a weekend I recently spent in Berlin.
Thank you very much. And the topic is parenthood. Away you go, Milton.
I went back to my parents' house the other day, looked into my neighbour's garden where I used to steal apples as a toddler. They didn't mind me stealing apples. It was dressing up as a toddler they thought was weird. I come from a family of auctioneers. There's my mum, my dad, my Uncle Philip, Auntie Eileen, my dying grandfather, going. I said to my dad, I keep making mistakes. He said, you're talking to the wrong person. I said, oh, no, not again. He said, well, it wasn't as bad as that Uber driver I had the other day. He fell asleep. So Calvin Klein's mum has labelled everyone else's pants. When my daughter was born, she had jaundice, so there she was, small, round, and yellow. We called her Melanie. Apparently, I didn't even turn up to one of my own children's christenings, according to one of them, who shall remain nameless.
And it's travel.
Travel, OK, fine. Well, I travelled from over there. Hello. One of my favourite travel experiences was at secondary school when we went on the school music trip to France. And to get on the school music trip to France, you had to be part of the choir. I was in the choir, and it basically meant you got to hang out with all the other 13-year-old homosexuals who didn't yet realise they were homosexuals, and their chatty female friends. And it was a great place to go and learn how to play a show tune on the flute. Not a euphemism. And this was back in the day when it didn't matter where you were going with the school. If you went on any school trip, you had to go by coach. Like, if you go to Australia, you go by coach. This was supposed to be a 5-day trip to France. We spent 2 days on the coach getting there and 2 days getting back. It was basically a day in France. So, on this trip, you really had to make the best of the coach trip. And for me, my favourite bit was when we got to stop off at the French hypermarket. So I thought that would be a great place for me to show off how much better I am than everybody else, because I'd actually been paying attention in French. So I went over to the patisserie and I said to the man there, "Bonjour, je voudrais un croissant, s'il vous plaît." And according to the French classes, the man behind the counter should have responded by saying, "Oui." Il y a un croissant ici, which, when you think about it, is basically the equivalent of someone coming over here and saying, "Hello, I'd like to buy a pasty, please." And then the man behind the counter responding by saying, "Yes!" There is a pasty here. I'm not even mentioning that it's part of a meal deal. So I said, "Bonjour, je voudrais un croissant, s'il vous plaît." And then the man behind the counter responded in normal French by going, blah, 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 blah. Certainly no idea what he was saying. Blah, 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 blah. I mean, my friend Kevin was no help. The only French he spoke was the French horn, which is a euphemism. I mean, I say they teach us how to speak French. Most of the time, they teach us how to sing it. I mean, I could have stood there and gone, "Quelle est la date de ton anniversaire?" But the idea of a 13-year-old English homosexual standing in the middle of a French hypermarket going, "What is the date of your birthday? What is the date of your birthday?" Couldn't be any more absurd. So I just responded by saying, "Oui, oui, d'accord, d'accord." Ended up with 8 kilograms of ham.
Thank you very, very much. Boys there at the top. The next topic is things that would change the atmosphere at a dinner party.
Ignore the banging. She's been in there for 24 years.
Help yourself to Nibbles. He was our favourite hamster, but it's what he would have wanted.
Are you sure this is pork? It's just because Mike Crackling has a tattoo.
Don't worry, we don't say grace. We just sacrifice a child to the great god Imhotep.
Doorbell! Excellent. That'll be Heather Mills and James Blunt. Hope he's brought his guitar.
I hope nobody's allergic to nuts, because I like to rest mine on the table.
Well, this is absolutely lovely. I say we all raise a glass to the Fuhrer!
10 of you arrived. Only one will leave.
Anyway, long story short, after about 2 hours, you couldn't tell what was poo and what was chocolate.
There is a vegetarian option. You can fuck off.
OK, at the end of that round, points go to Russell and then Andy. Now we play a round called Loose Men. This game involves Andy, Rod, Tom and Russell. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This is where we test our performance stand-up skills. We spin our news generator, it settles on a topic, and anyone can volunteer jokes about the chosen subject. The winners and the people I judge should produce the funniest stuff. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. The first subject is credit crunch. Who wants to come in on that? Andy Parsons.
Now, the government have got this idea that what they want to do is bankers who've lost their jobs, they want to retrain them as teachers, but in half the time it would normally take to train a teacher. I bet the teachers are happy about that, aren't they? Hey, these people were crap at banking. The chances are they're also going to be crap at teaching, and they'll be even crapper if they're trying to train them in half the time it would normally take. Yeah, these people, right, surely it'd be better to retrain them as bankers. That is what they will crap
Well done, Andy Parsons. OK, let's spin the wheel again. The subject is eating out. Who wants to talk about that? Rod.
I ate out the other day. That's what I went to Cardiff Bay. It's all changed, you know. They've done it all up, and it's all European development money. And some of the places now have got tables outside. It's al fresco dining in Wales. Just taking the piss. I think I tried to have a Twixt on a bus stop a few years ago down there. It was too wet to eat. So everyone's pretending it's Madrid down there. You know, your soup bowl's filling up faster than you can eat it. I didn't get past my starters after 7 hours of soup and rainwater. I gave up. Everyone's pretending it's Madrid, don't they? Your soup bowl's filling up. There's waiters with frosted eyebrows fighting their way to the tables, going, spaghetti carbonara, spaghetti carbonara. I'll get another one, I'll get another one.
Whatever. That leaves us with Tom and Russell. Let's spin the wheel. The next subject is extreme sports. Who wants to come in on that?
No,
Tom.
go. Why not? I went skydiving. I don't know if anybody here's ever gone skydiving, but if you haven't gone, I'll tell you what they do. They give you a couple lessons, then they bring you up into the plane, and you're not allowed to jump out of the plane on your own because it's too scary. So what they do is they hang you off the wing of the plane, which isn't scary at all. And the guy inside, he yells, "Let go!" 3 times. Then he gets mad. Starts kicking your hands. 'Cause I'm not letting go. We all skydive different. I skydive with a big plane in my hand. That's what I'm saying.
OK, Russell, let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. Topic is families.
Well, families are quite peculiar. Mine are wonderful. I went to Brighton the other day, and my uncle was like, "Watch out, it's full of gays, and they'll get you. They'll get me. They're gays, they're not ninjas. Not gonna..." I'm so glad that I was raised by lunatics. I remember one of the weirdest stories I had happen to me when I was little. I was 8 years old. I was in Lanzarote. I just put some rubbish in a bin. I came around a corner and I was confronted by 2 werewolves, right? Turned out it wasn't werewolves, it was my mum and dad. Ah, ha, ha, isn't it hilarious? Not really, I've shat myself, right? But I've only recently found out they did not buy the wolf masks in Lanzarote. They bought them in England, which is beautiful and chilling at the same time. Look what I've got, David. Couple of wolf masks. You know, don't like wolves, don't you? Captain Shitterbrick next door. Well, let's put him on now, scare him. Can I hold you just there, David? Can I wait until we're in a foreign country, get him really out of his comfort zone, and then properly shit him out? Families.
Well done, Russell. Point it in and go to Rod and Tom. Now we play a round called Bake Off as Mocked Off. This game involves Ivo Graham and Ed Gamble, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launched a wheel of news, and whoever chooses to stop one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's spin the wheel, please. And the topic is technology. Ivo.
I think our generation were a bit of a crossover generation when it came to modern technology. So, for example, I had access to computers as a teenager at my school, but not proper video games. So the video games that I played as a teenager were the ones that came free with the computers. Whew. And let me tell you what a rock and roll mid-noughties existence that was. Those long afternoons on my own spent playing Minesweeper, playing pinball, and trying to scroll down all the way to the bottom of Microsoft Excel. Not strictly a video game, but when you're lonely enough, still feels like an achievement. And I'm proud to stand here now and boast in front of you all that I've completed Excel and lived to tell the tale. I've gone where few mortals dare to tread. All the way down, all the way right. Written my name in that bottom right-hand Excel cell.
I won't tell you what that cell is called, 'cause it would blow your minds. It's been a joyous moment just hovering over Control P. Just imagining the carnage. Did I have the balls? The sheer granite testes to print off the entirety of Excel on the school paper supply. I didn't in the end, but the thought experiment was enough alone. Then in my last year, we got a games console, our first group video game, Mario Kart. If you're not familiar with it, it's the greatest video game and thing of all time. Since tried intercourse, still prefer Mario Kart. Mario Kart, we're actively encouraged to finish first. And if you do, there's no shame.
Well done, over again. OK, that leaves us with Ed. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. And the topic is relationships. There you go.
I am in a serious relationship. That's what she makes me say. Serious. I'm in a serious relationship. This is my partner. Sounds like you're in a law firm, is what it sounds like. Serious relationship. Sounds like a disease. How's your relationship? I'm sorry to say it's serious. I'm not in a serious relationship. I'm in a silly relationship. You tell me if you think this sounds like a serious relationship. The other day, me and my girlfriend were having a discussion about the Beatles. At some point during that discussion, she forgot George Harrison's name. Now, she previously knew George Harrison's name, but her brain did something to her that all of our brains do to us now and again. It just deleted a fact for no reason. And it panics you when that happens. You think, am I going mad? Am I going senile? You go on a spiral of panic and worry, and I could see she was worried. And any good boyfriend in that situation would have told her George Harrison's name, and I am a good boyfriend. But I am a better comedian. So what I chose to do in that situation was write down every guess that she took at George Harrison's name. I have memorised them, and I'm now going to recite them to you, the good people of Mock the Week. Here we go. Guess number one. John, Paul, Ringo, John. There it is. She thought there might have been two Johns in the Beatles. Maybe the Beatles were a double John band. And as if we'd remember them in that order, we wouldn't go John, Paul, Ringo, John. We wouldn't bookend it with Johns. It would be John, John, Paul, Ringo, John, John, or Paul, Ringo and the Johns. She knew that was wrong immediately. I squawked in her face. Guess number two. John, Paul, Ringo, Joseph. Hello, Joseph. What are you doing in there? I didn't realise the Beatles were a nativity-themed band. Three guys with 60s hairdos, one child with a tea towel tied to his head. Again, she knew it was wrong. I was on the floor already. Then her brain gave her a little free pass, gave her a clue, gave her the surname. Thank you, brain. John, Paul, Ringo, Tony Harrison. Oh, Tony, you're not part of this conversation. Please remove yourself from the vicinity immediately. I said, you're half right. You're half right. I promise you, her next guess was Harrison Ford. Thank you very much.
Bravo, very good. Get that round. The points go to Ed Gamble.
Can I say that the jam thing irritates me, though, because the jam thing is that we've been told there's an opportunity for Britons to sell jam to Europe.
Yes.
Right? That's the big opportunity, right? And all the Twitter comments were trying to sell jam to the French, all the French provide all of that. But they do, but we make really good jam. We make really, really good jam. And I hate this thing.
Doing down the country.
Yeah. No, whereby everything that comes from France is more sophisticated. Their jam just comes from a big jam factory near Marseille. I mean, when I was a kid, we all thought ski yoghurt was incredibly sophisticated. It was made in Swansea.
When you started that, I thought, where's it going with this? And it's just like, oh, he just loves jam.
French jam is really complicated. I mean, it's not good because you go to Waitrose. Jesus Christ. You just want a jar of raspberry jam. Can you find it? You can find framboise. What the fuck is that?
It's food. Oh, OK. Oh, very similar topics. I once went to a buffet in Reading, and that's not even the joke. It was organised by a woman called Wendy, and it was so beige. It was so bland. It was like a buffet representation of Reading. I I looked across this buffet, right? They put out sausage rolls, right? Sausage rolls, right? Where they just whipped off the cellophane and put the corrugated plastic straight down on the table. Like we were dogs! Then we had Scotch eggs, right? Scotch eggs cut into quarters. Apparently no one can eat a whole one. Then we had breadsticks displayed in a pint glass. I thought I was at a fucking UKIP rally. Then she starts putting down cold pizza slices next to wontons. No one's mixed Italian and Chinese cuisine like that since Marco Polo. Then she brought out the quadrant of dips. You know, the 4 dips. The 4 dips of the apocalypse. The white one, the other white one. Then there's a green one, what's that? Guacamole. Then there's a pink one, what's that made of? Sillet bang? I was just glad to have something made of some sort of colour. Anyway, it was a terrible buffet, but thank you very much, Wendy.
Who made a typically colourful speech at the conference?
Can I just ask one question?
Oh, my God.
Is it how they get the little safety thing to go down?
Why isn't there orange jam?
Marmalade is...
No, that's not jam. That's got bits in.
Yeah, I'm happy to move on as well. I'll give you a clue. The answer is Boris Johnson. Who?
It was Boris Johnson.
Shut up, I have to ask the question first. Let's stick to the conventions of normal language. Who made a typically colourful speech at the conference?
Was it Hugh about jam?
OK. The topic is drinking.
Now, according to police, right, apparently in nightclubs, 1 in 20 drinks are spiked. Now, I was thinking this could give you a little excuse not to go into work the next day. Phone up work, I can't come in, my drink was spiked. How do you know? Well, I had 20 of them. One of them must have been. Of course, if you go and see your doctor now, they give you a little test, don't they? My doctor, he said to me the other day, he said, how many units of alcohol have you had this week? I said, 21. He said, that's not bad. The maximum's 28. I was thinking it was bloody lucky I saw him on the Monday.
OK, let's see what we've got left for Frankie. Let's spin the wheel again. And it's drinking.
As a teetotal alcoholic, that should be quite good. I drink energy drinks now. It's good that they've finally managed to can anxiety. It's good that there's a drink that gives me the resting heart rate of a serial killer who's just spotted that there's a sale on at B&Q. I hate this thing where Guinness always go, oh, we're the national drink of Ireland. Yeah, you're the national drink of a nation of alcoholics. That's like saying that you're Gary Glitter's favourite search engine. I'm teetotal, right? A concept which Scottish people don't understand. So I did a gig in Fife, and I was on stage, and this guy was going up to the bar, and he went, hey, I'll get you a drink as well. And I went, well, I used to be an alcoholic, so I don't drink anymore, but thanks anyway. And he looked at me for a bit, and then he went, a pint of lager shandy?
Thank you, boy. And the topic is food. Oh, there you go.
Now, this is one of my favourite topics because I actually hate restaurants. And my wife loves restaurants. She's middle class. She's been skiing and everything. And she loves a restaurant. She says, can we go to a restaurant at the weekend? And I say, yes, we can. And we're there, we're barely there 2 minutes, and she's like, isn't it a lovely ambiance? And I say to her, I don't know what you're talking about. I've worked out what an ambiance is. It's a night out without poor people, isn't it, basically? It's People with a few quid to say, can we just have one night out without the poor people turning up? You know what they're like, they'll be banging spoons together, singing My Man's a Dustman, creating an atmosphere. We want an ambiance. So we're trying to enjoy the ambiance. But something's happened spoiling it for me. There's no tomato sauce on the table. Creating the situation when my wife looked at me, she said, you're going to ask for tomato sauce, aren't you? I said, yes, I am. Because I'm going to have the risotto. You can't eat risotto without red sauce, it's too dry. It's a health and safety issue. You've got to zhuzh it up with a bit of red sauce, right? So I thought, I'm not having it. I said to the waitress, excuse me, do you have any ketchup in the building? She's looked at me like I'm the worst pleb God has ever put breath into. She went off to the kitchen and I saw her making her way back with a pot about that big, about 2 chipfuls of tomato sauce. I thought, oh, here we go. She's tried to put it down and walk away like she's doing a drug deal or something. And I stopped her. I said, hold on, love, don't rush off. And I took a sip of it. And I looked at her, I said, yes, I'll have a bottle, please.
Things you wouldn't hear on a TV cookery show.
Hi, I'm Nigella Lawson, and before I bake any cake, I like to chop my flour into lines.
You can see that's rising nicely. It does that every time I think about how much money Channel 4 are going to pay me.
Hello and welcome to Can't Cook, Won't Cook. Today we won't be making anything. Goodbye.
Coming up next on Saturday Kitchen, whatever we want, because we know you're too hungover to change the channel.
This is a hot pot.
This is a fucking hot pot!
So, if you want to bone a chicken, what you need to do, take it on a couple of dates, and then invite it back, put on some romantic music, and let nature take its course.
There is a bit of a problem on this week's food and drink. I've finished all of it.
This is a Thai chicken curry, or as I like to call it, hot Asian cock.
OK, Sam, let's see what you've brought in your bag of ingredients. It is a pint of wine and a large Malteser.
Right, welcome to Southern Cooking for Northerners. First up, quinoa. What is it and why it can fuck off?
Well, if you're going to pop it in, don't forget to cover it first. I didn't, and that's why I'm making paternity payments.
Hello, I'm Greg Wallace, and this series of MasterChef, we won't be using plates. We'll just be eating off my shiny, shiny head.
Hello, it's Nigella Lawson here again. I'm just going to say the word spatchcock for no reason. Spatchcock.
Anyone can make this. You can't, Beatrice. Sorry, you can't beat rice.
Let's just all go home. Yeah, let's just go home.
Welcome. Welcome to Great Indian Bake Off. I'm Paul Bollywood.
Hello, I'm Jamie Oliver. Welcome to my new show, Stick a Bit of Fucking Sugar in It.
In other news, what could happen to drunk air passengers in the future?
They might sober up.
Yeah.
They're complaining drunks are getting on planes. They make you wait for 2 hours in a pub. That's just a brilliant pub that happens to have good transport links.
It is true, though, isn't it? It's the only time you see people sort of 3 o'clock in the morning in an airport pub just going, oh, I'll have a bacon sandwich and 4 pints of Stella. That seems to make sense, doesn't it? We're here. As soon as you take away windows, all responsibility goes, doesn't it? It can be any time I want it to be.
Totally agree. I saw a guy, this was out of order, 7 a.m, having a Wagamama's. What the hell are you doing?
You're right, you're right.
What is going wrong in your life? There's a guy drinking Guinness, looking across, going, he's got problems.
It's only a problem on planes, though, isn't it? It's not a problem in airports, is it? And it's only a problem on planes if you get so drunk that you go, right, you, outside, now.
But they always say that people get drunk and try to open the doors. Presumably you can't actually open those doors.
I don't think someone can just run around... The doors, obviously, they can't be open, otherwise we'd all still be on the last plane we got onto. You can't, but you can't in a kind of a, hello, you're a very pretty... who says, whoa! That big roundy bun doesn't go from... Whoa! Give me a call! Let's go! James Orlando.
Now we come to our final quickfire round called Scenes We'd Like to See. This is for everyone, so if you can make your way to the performance area, please. I'll call out ideas for scenarios we'd love to see, and the performers come in with their suggestions. The first subject is unlikely things to hear on Comic Relief.
And we'd just like to thank the donation of 160,000 turkeys from a Mr. B. Matthews.
Remember, tonight isn't all about comedy. Here's Ben Elton.
Of course, we're also supporting projects in the UK. For example, this is my extension.
My name's Ade. I'm 7 years old, and I have to walk 5 miles every day to get fresh water. So I really don't have time to play footballs with fat celebrities. Fuck off and give me the money.
Right, here's one for you. 3 Ethiopians walk into a bar.
If we remove all these villagers' cataracts, one day they might be able to make our shoes.
Yeah, I don't believe it either. Some of those kids are fatter than I am.
And remember, 20% of everything you give goes directly to a grinning warlord wearing a necklace of human finger bones.
This village had 1 goat until I ate it.
Later, Dawn French will be climbing into a bath of beans. Not for charity, it's her supper.
We're from the Maasai tribe. When are we going to get that money for that ident we did?
Now we play a round called Netflix and Chilcot. This game involves Loiso and Milton. So if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is a stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. OK, here we go. Let's have the first topic, please. The first subject is politics. Who shall come in on politics? Loiso.
So you guys are all worried about your prime ministers and that kind of stuff. I'd say calm down. Because I'm from South Africa, and the guy who's the head of state now was facing 763 charges before he became the president. That's a lot of crime. You have to break the law every day for 2 years. Because you guys are, I mean, we had a great president, our first democratically elected president, President Nelson Mandela. And I had the opportunity to meet Nelson Mandela. He came up to me. I was a young lad. I think I was about 12 and stuff. And he came up to me and said, Young man. Would you like me to tell you a joke? I say, yeah, go ahead, it's your country. Knock, knock. I said, who's there? Who else speaks like this?
Thank you very much for your use of. That leaves us with Milton. Let's see what you've been got. Let's spin the wheel. And it's jobs. Milton.
Have you noticed that if you Google the phrase lost medieval servant boy, it says this page cannot be found? Some of you are going to be doing that tomorrow. I think if I was opening a Pizza Express, I'd open it next to a Vision Express, so we got some of their customers by mistake. I think if I had unlimited money, I'd hire 2 private investigators and get them to follow each other. Do you ever get that thing where you think someone's probably definitely wearing a wig, and you think to yourself, I'm sorry, Your Honour. I'm a bit of a lazy writer, according to my children, QWERTY and F12. Being a PE teacher, that's easy, isn't it? Shiny. I teach running. Run. I teach swimming. Swim. And a tiny, tiny little bit of geography. Jog. Thank you, Max.
That's Robert Allen. Post-Egg on Milton Jones. Come back, both of you.
The next round is called Between the Lines. Rory and Hugh, can you make your way to our Mock the Week press pit? In this round, one player takes the role of a famous person making a speech, while the other says what they really mean. Rory, you are George W. Bush making his TV address to the nation. Hugh, tell us what he's really saying.
My fellow Americans,
People of Florida.
2 years ago, I declared that hostilities in Iraq were over.
Unfortunately, nobody told the other side.
See, we proved them wrong in Iraq. They said there was no link between Iraq and Al-Qaeda.
There is now.
What people have to understand is the problem was essentially our lack of intelligence.
People have to understand. The problem is essentially my lack of intelligence.
See, problem is people keep putting words in my mouth.
Imagine what it would be like if they didn't.
Well, we will stay in Iraq until the job is done.
We will stay in Iraq until the oil is finished.
Very good. Both of you. Congratulations, Rory and you. Points for everyone. Sit down. Okay, the next topic is commercials that never made it to air.
I wipe my ass with Colgate. And now, I've got a ring of confidence.
If it tastes like butter and spreads straight from the fridge, you've probably had a power cut.
Condoms. Because if she'd sleep with you, she'd sleep with anyone.
Ryanair. Because I'm worth shit.
As leader of the Labour Party, I always like to look my best. It's very important to me to have a smooth finish, which is why I use the Mach 4. As I often say, that was a close shave, wasn't it, Gromit?
Frosties, they're all right.
New BG from Garnier. Exfoliates, hydrates, epilates, urinates. Probably not that last one.
Unlimited minutes, unlimited text, unlimited music downloads. Yes, it's our new twat on a train tariff.
Have a break. Have a wank.
Maybe she's born with it. In which case, I probably shouldn't take the piss.
Bekele has to walk for 5 miles every day for fresh water. That's why she ought to be thinking about the new Mazda.
Coco Chanel. Says bloody horrible, I'm sticking to Horlicks.
Lidl. Because life didn't work out as you planned.
Hi, I'm Kevin Bacon, doing an ad on British TV.
What happened?
Have you got that bloated, uncomfortable feeling in your stomach? Then try going for a shit.
The DFS furniture sale is not currently on.
This Christmas, get Mocked a Week on DVD, featuring all the regulars, Dara O'Brien, and through this week, Andy Parsons, Will Milton Jones, and of course, don't forget Mickey Flanagan, East End of London, and of course, everybody very good, Chris Allison. Everyone, dinner around the point of Alistair, Hugh and Gary.
And it's relationships.
Right, relationships. It's good to be here. Last time I was here, a girl asked me for sex. I had to disappoint her. We had sex. But I'm trying to learn to be a more sensitive lover. I got a DVD, How to Improve Your Foreplay Technique. It was really good. I had to fast forward through the boring bit at the beginning. Last night I had beef stew with dumplings. I shouldn't call her that, but she's a big girl. I went to see the stalactites at Cheddar Gorge, and our guide asked us not to try and crack one off, and she wasn't even that attractive. I still managed. It was very dark. This morning I went to a meeting of my premature ejaculators support group, but it turns out it's tomorrow. I think a few of the men started clapping before the end of that joke, by the way. My girlfriend's dog died. So to cheer her up, I got her an identical one. She was livid. What am I going to do with 2 dead dogs? A friend of mine had a penis extension. Now his house looks really stupid.
And the topic is family.
Family. Okay. Old lady names are very much back in fashion at the minute, like Lily or Elsie or Rose, and we wanted something like that for our daughter, but we couldn't decide, so in the end we just called her Nan. I told her she'll grow into it. I remember one time my uncle asked me to spell Schadenfreude and I couldn't, but he's dead now and I'm not, so I win. My cousin always introduces himself as Stephen with a PH, and that's because he's slightly acidic. My married friends would always tell me there's someone out there for everyone, and I'd think, wow, she must be a right slag. Knock, knock, who's there? Grandad, shit, stop the funeral. Grandad asked me how to print on his new computer. I said, just Control-P. He said, I haven't been able to do that for years. My confirmed bachelor uncle always describes himself as asexual, but I'd also add B, gay. As a child, I was always told that if I touched myself down there, God was watching, but it turned out it was just Uncle Peter.
The topic is celebrity.
Celebrity. They've started a celebrity magazine for the elderly. It's called Hello, Hello, Hello. Uri Geller, surprisingly hard to stab. Malcolm X chose that name rather than admit he'd accidentally put a kiss at the end of a text message. I went to see Walt Disney on Ice. Bit disappointing, it's just an old bloke in a freezer. The new president of France said this week that English speakers were arrogant in their refusal to learn foreign languages. At least I think that's what he said. But it all just sounded like haw-hee-haw, haw-hee-haw. And remember, that's not racist if it's about the French. I'd have £5 on the Dalai Lama if I was a Tibetan man. When they buried the man who invented Tetris, the whole cemetery disappeared. As well as 7 years in prison here, Abu Hamza could be deported to the United States where he could face the electric chair. But on the plus side, if he is electrocuted, at least he can just stick his hook in the air and pretend to be a bumper car.
And relationships.
Sorry. That does actually look like me and my girlfriend. Apparently, in Norfolk, the marriage guidance service is called Related. My girlfriend says I'm not very romantic. The other day we were kissing on the sofa. She said, how about we take this into the bedroom? I said, OK, you get the other end. When she suggested we try playing doctors and nurses, I was really hoping for something sexier than being left in a corridor for 2 days. My girlfriend and I are trying for a baby. Her mom's agreed to help out, just till I get hard. She's going to see that on telly as well. That's terrible. They always say you'll find the love of your life when you're not really looking, which was true, but by then I'd run her over. I've been trying to persuade my girlfriend to sexually stimulate me with her keyring, but she just keeps fobbing me off, so... When I heard you could now be a sperm donor by post, I came in a jiffy. I went to a swingers club. The doorman goes, it's £15 to get in, or you can pay £20. That includes a meal. I paid £20. I went in. This oiled, naked guy comes up to me and goes, hello, my name's Emil. I once had a one-night stand and I didn't get an erection. That isn't cool. Luckily, the woman I was with was really understanding and she just said, don't worry, that used to happen to me. Thank you.
And the topic is education.
One time at school, I lost my thesaurus. You know, I couldn't find the words to describe how upset I was. I remember sitting in psychology class learning about Pavlov, thinking, no stupid dogs. And then the bell went and we all had lunch. I'm sitting at home, this guy knocks on my door. Have you ever considered an alternative energy supplier? I'm like, no, I'm quite happy with food. It's got to be a tough job going around door to door encouraging people to photosynthesize. I can give you the leading cause of anaphylactic shock in a nutshell. I've got the memory of an elephant. I remember one time I went to the zoo and saw an elephant. My nan recently claimed that she once gave a hand job to Albert Einstein. What a stroke of genius. Technically, shoplifting from the Apple store only counts as scrumping. Sex education lessons at our school were pretty weird. The teacher made us shout out rude words to get out of our system, like bum, willy, cocks, and we had to carry on doing that until he came.
Topic is childhood.
As a child, I was made to walk the plank. We couldn't afford a dog. My 6-year-old refuses to eat anything other than alphabeti spaghetti. Luckily, he's dyslexic, so I just buy him normal spaghetti. Seems to work. Dad, these are all L's. Yeah, it's Welsh. I bought him some medicine for his ADHD. On the side of the bottle, it said concentrate. I thought if he could do that... I bought a really nice 12-year-old scotch. Obviously, his parents weren't pleased. I hate people who complain about breastfeeding in public. Like, I don't want to see it, or that's disgusting, or you can't do that, you're not a woman. And that's not a baby. As kids, we always enjoyed dipping ginger nuts into a steaming hot cup of tea. But, of course, nowadays, that's called bullying. I shouldn't do that, by the way. Ginger jokes are the last vestiges of racism in comedy, and they started a ginger pride movement to stamp that shit out. They had a march in Hyde Park. Well, they were going to do it when the sun came out. Nan always said that when she was young, she never had to worry about leaving her back door open. What a slag. I'm totally going to get in trouble with the family again. This is really not worth it. You got to look after your health as you get older. The other day I did a poo and noticed there was a little blood in it. I said, oi, bruv, get out my toilet, innit?
And so it is relationships.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I used to suffer from premature ejaculation, which made me feel selfish and bad for my girlfriend. Then she suggested I try this special cream that reduces your sensitivity. And it really worked, because now I don't give a shit about her. I bought a vegan friend of mine a fancy cookbook. Unfortunately, he said he couldn't accept it as it was leather-bound, which meant it was too heavy for him to lift. When I was a teenager, my mom always said, your bedroom's so messy, you'll never get any self-respecting girl to come back here. But luckily, they weren't the ones I was going after. I watched the director's cut of a porn film. At the end, he actually fixes the washing machine. I was in a sex shop. I saw a dildo described as 9 inches long and realistic. I thought, well, which is it? The Archbishop of Canterbury recently said he couldn't support gay marriage without first having a mandate. Honestly, if he's that bothered, I'll go out with him. One time at a party, I chucked my car keys into a big bowl, and everyone just stared at me, and the trifle was ruined. I was watching a really weird porno the other day that was just a fat man crying and wanking at the same time. And then I realised I hadn't turned the telly on. Thank you.
And the topic is shopping. Away you go.
I bought a slimming magazine in W.H. Smith's. I didn't read it, I just wanted a big bar of Galaxy for £1. I bought some fancy pens at a nudist art shop. Felt tips? No, but I touched a couple of bollocks. I was in a lingerie shop. I said, are these knickers satin? He said, no, they're new. I went to buy a Christmas tree. The guy said, you're going to put it up yourself? I said, no, I was thinking the living room. Bought a chameleon, lost it. Why is it that when women go to the toilet in pairs, no one minds, but when I did it, I got thrown out the greengrocers? I got into a fight with my acupuncturist and stabbed him. He said he'd never felt better. According to the vet, my cat's in heat. I didn't even know she was famous. A friend of mine keeps going on and on about how good his orthopaedic shoe is, but I think he's built it up too much. I bought an advent calendar for Jehovah's Witnesses, but on every door somebody tells you to fuck off.
And the topic is health.
The doctor told me to lose some weight. I said, how? He said, don't eat anything fatty. I said, what, pies, chips, that kind of thing? He said, no, just don't eat anything fatty. I was thrown out of Weight Watchers for making sarcastic comments during the weekly weigh-in. As you can imagine, I accepted the decision with huge grace, because they threw her out as well. Chair of Dyslexic Society was recently given an OBE. He said, what's the point? I can't play the bloody thing. I live next door to a family of anorexic agoraphobics. Yeah, but they've got a few skeletons in the closet. A friend of mine's been suffering from paranoid delusions and now he thinks he's a chocolate orange. I worry he's going to be sectioned. Poor Terry. I thought PPI was just something you could get if you didn't wear goggles at the swimming baths. I bought an alcoholic ginger beer. He wasn't pleased. I once met a girl who confused a tube of KY jelly with super glue. I asked how it happened, but sadly her lips were sealed.
And subject is transport. Where you go, Gary?
I had a nightmare on the journey over here, and luckily that woke me up just before I ran over a small child. The other day I lost control at a roundabout, and then I went absolutely bonkers on the swings. I stopped in a lay-by, there was a sign saying no dumping. That was all right, I was just having a wee. I joined a breakdown service for Scousers. It's called the AA. Calm down, calm down. If they can't fix your car in an hour, they'll nick you a new one. The Paralympics taught us all that sometimes we should stop and put ourselves in the place of people with disabilities, and I have to say, those parking spaces are brilliant. In the car on the way over here, I kept hearing this annoying, whiny noise. So I pulled over, my girlfriend got out to have a look at the engine, and I drove off. The other night, I saw a couple weaving all over the street. I said, honestly, get a loom. I accidentally filled the Escort with diesel. She died.
The topic is nationalities. Where you go?
My next-door neighbour's really loud and obnoxious, so now I know how Canada feels. I bought some lamb chops. On the packet, it said reared in Wales. I thought that was just a racist stereotype. This morning, I made a Belgian waffle. In the afternoon, I made a Frenchman talk bollocks. In Scotland, the forbidden fruit is fruit. When England played Poland at Wembley, there was 30,000 Polish fans in the crowd. And I thought, well, fair play to them. If I'd built it, I'd want to have a look round as well. I like to annoy my Israeli flatmate by giving him any post that's just addressed to the occupier. I was at an Italian zoo with a Christian friend of mine, so I thought, when in Rome, and pushed him into the lions. Nan's going to that suicide clinic in Switzerland, but don't tell her, it's a surprise. My granddad was killed by a Zulu. He was having a shit at Whipsnade and the roof collapsed.
And the topic is childhood.
I didn't know what to get my little niece for Christmas, so I asked my sister what she's into. And apparently, at the moment, she's mad about frozen stuff, so I got her some oven chips and peas. They love that. Every Christmas Day, we'd always have pigs in blankets, or as you probably call them, relatives sleeping in the spare room. Winnie the Pooh, possibly the most vindictive chapter in Nelson Mandela's autobiography. It was only after I shot the 5th zombie that I started to wonder why they were all carrying bags of sweets and ringing my doorbell. I've been trying to recapture my lost youth. I really must get that cellar door fixed. One time when I was a kid, I bought a chocolate bar. On the inside of the wrapper, it said, "You're a loser." I wouldn't mind if there'd been some sort of competition on. To make things worse, it was a boost. As a family, we couldn't decide whether to have Nana buried or cremated, so in the end, we let her live. My 13-year-old cousin's already started taking heroin. It's amazing, isn't it? They shoot up so fast these days.
OK, the topic is health. Where you go?
I'm a lot sportier than I might look. In fact, I picked up a little niggle at the gym the other day. I mean, he pronounces it Nigel. I had a very stressful journey getting here today. All the way, this lorry driver was right up my arse. But it was nice of him to give me a lift. Now, I spent most of the afternoon hanging out at the swimming baths. And then somebody told me and I tucked it back in again. I put on a lot of weight recently, so I rang up Weight Watchers. I said, "It's an emergency. Can you send somebody round?" And they said, "Yes, we can. We got loads of those." My grief counsellor died recently, but luckily he was so good I didn't give a shit. I accidentally kicked the dog earlier and he bit me on the bollocks. My mate said it's karma. I said no. If anything, he's even more angry. I asked the vet, "What can I do? I think my dog's racist. He keeps barking at the Asian man next door." And the vet said, "Muzzle him." I said, "I don't know, but he's got a beard." I went round to see my nan. I said, "What you been up to?" She said, "Weed in the garden." I said, "Well, at least you didn't shit in it." I was in the garden with my girlfriend earlier, and we saw the 18-year-old girl next door, all dolled up, ready to go out clubbing. And my girlfriend said, "Do you know what? At that age, I could really see myself in her." Which was weird, because I was thinking the exact same.
OK, the topic is work.
I nearly lost my job as a roofer when I was caught masturbating on the first day. Yeah, luckily, my boss said I could wipe the slate clean. I used to work at Waterstones. One day a guy came in asking if we had any audiobooks with subtitles. I thought, hang on, that's a book. The circus near me held a competition to find the best contortionist, so I entered myself and won. In my old job, I just used to punch buttons all day, and that's why I'm no longer allowed to work in panto. I've got 2 lawyers working for me at the minute. One's pro bono, and the other thinks he's a right pretentious twat. When my granddad was caught trying to stow away in the Merchant Navy, he offered to work his passage, which, as you can imagine, made him very popular. I hate people who phone me up just to complain about the weather, which is why I lost my job at Mountain Rescue. I was at a station the other day that had a piano on the platform, so I had a little tinkle on it, which saved me 30 pence. I went on a positive thinking course. It was shit. I bought a Microsoft Advent calendar. If you open too many windows at once, they all shut again for no bloody reason.
The topic is technology. OK, where you go?
The young couple next door to me have recently made a sex tape. I mean, obviously, they don't know that yet. The hardest part of making skimmed milk must be throwing the cows across the lake. The guy next to me at work used to watch porn all day. I'm just glad he didn't begin to rub off on me. I think if I was to try revenge porn, I'd just post naked pictures of myself online so everybody would know how low my ex's standards were. When answering the security question, place of birth, apparently vagina is not an acceptable answer. It's been a tough week. I got myself a memory foam mattress and now it's trying to blackmail me. I've currently got a stalker, but you probably can't tell in these trousers. A friend of mine was killed by the big sea. He was walking past Curry's and a sign fell on his head. I was watching TV and the announcer said there's a documentary about the clitoris on the red button, but I couldn't find it.
And the topic is relationships.
The other day, a woman described me as a bit of a looker. Well, voyeur was the actual word that she used. I used to go out with a parachutist with IBS, but she shat on me from a great height. One time I nearly had a threesome with my girlfriend and my best friend, and the only thing that stopped it happening was they didn't invite me. My girlfriend said she wanted to try some new condoms with something special inside to boost her pleasure. I said, oh, what's that? She said, other men. Our 4th child was called Ivy, and that's because we ran out of names and started using Roman numerals. My last girlfriend was always trying to put me down, which is just one of the hazards of going out with a vet. I tried reading a book on premature ejaculation, but I couldn't get past the opening passage. This Christmas, I'm taking the whole family to Lapland, which is great, because normally those clubs don't let kids in. I always worry when a woman sees me naked for the first time that she's just going to scream and run out the park. My girlfriend and I love watching box sets. We got 3 episodes into Orange is the New Black before finding out it wasn't about what would happen if Trump replaced Obama.
And the topic is health. Gary.
The area in a Nando's between the front and back door is called the peri-perineum. I like to judge my weight by my BMI. As long as I weigh less than a small plane, I think it's fine. When writing a story about losing your virginity, it's important to always put it in the first person. When people die and head towards the light, what they don't realise is they've already been reincarnated as a moth. I can count the number of chainsaw accidents I've had on the fingers of one hand. I tell you what always catches my eye, short people with umbrellas. So the other day, I was doing the hoovering in my pants, and I thought to myself, how do my bollocks get this dusty? I've been attending Gamblers Anonymous for 3 years, whereas my best mate Dave, he only stuck it out for 2.5, so I won that one. I like to think I'm a bit like Superman. For example, the other day I changed in a phone box from a man who really needs a wee to a man who's just had a wee. I pulled a sickie the other day, just one of the perks of working at the hospital. The other day, my girlfriend and I had great makeup sex. Well, I say that, she was out and I stuck her lipstick up my arse. Because I'm worth it.
And the topic is animals.
I don't like to eat anything labelled reformed ham, as I think it's unfair that the pigs are slaughtered after they've got their lives back on track. Last night I had to get towed home because Ratty and Moley were too pissed. Whenever I see ginger people going grey, I'm always reminded of the sad plight of our native squirrels. I went round Grandad's to walk his dog. As I was leaving the house, he said, don't forget poo bags. I was like, all right, Gran. My girlfriend's a cat person. She's got fishy breath, shits in a tray and disappears for days at a time. I tried swimming with dolphins once, but I didn't like it as I found them very clicky. Dolphins who die without any money are given a pauper's funeral. The other day I was chewing on some monkey nuts and now I'm banned from the zoo. Doctor, I'm addicted to screwing dogs. Have you tried patches? What's he, a poodle? I went to the zoo to watch the monkeys wanking. Then I went to watch the crocodiles and I was still wanking.
Thank you very much, David. The next topic is teaching. Who wants to come in on that? Greg.
I was a teacher for many, many years, ladies and gentlemen, and I knew the day I had to leave teaching, it was simple because a very clear sign was given to me that I should leave the profession by a child, because a child walked into my lesson 20 minutes late. I was a very strict teacher. I was livid, yeah? I was almost as mad as if that child had been running in the school corridor, right? I thought, I am having this little bastard. I am having this. So I gave him my most ruthless teacher stare when he walked in, something like... Maybe not that sexually aggressive. It wasn't. That would work. That would work, though, wouldn't it? They wouldn't be late again then, would they? Oh, dear. Where have you been? No, it wasn't right. I was furious. I went, oh, really? Oh, really? And I could see that child didn't give a shit, right? And I thought, oh, no, this is the end of my teaching career. And I went, where have you been? And he went, yeah, sorry, sir. I went, really? Are you? Well, where the hell have you been for 20 minutes? And I promise you, that child looked me in the face and went, yeah, sorry, sir. I've been living La Vida Loca. What can you say to that? I said, fair enough, sit down. Anyone who quotes Ricky Martin at me, ladies and gentlemen, isn't friend for life. Well done, Greg.
How has Trump himself dealt in fake news this week?
It's a false Time magazine cover, isn't it?
Yes, he put up fake Time magazine covers in 5 of his clubs. This, which was framed with Donald Trump as a television smash written on it. And then if you go to the barcode, if you scan the barcode, it just sends you directly to a website that allows you to create your own fake Time magazine covers.
What is the point? He's actually been on the cover of Real Time magazine.
Yes.
It's like you mocking yourself up in front of the Mock the Week logo going, I told you I was on the show.
Yes. Does it like in that photo, he looks like he's absolutely determined to have very pointy orange eyebrows.
For a man who gives out about fake news, it is, and had this ridiculous thing up, it is kind of offensive, really. It's something I expand upon, actually, quite a lot in an interview I did recently with Women's Health magazine.
And I have to say, at first I was disappointed that there wasn't an article about me, but then I spotted the killer abs on the loose.
It's something I discussed actually quite at length in an interview I recently did with Classic and Sports Car magazine, which you'll see these. Yes, it's just a thing I have on the wall at home. How many of these did you do?
That makes you look like Vladimir Putin.
That is, may I say, your Photoshop skills ran out. Darlene, how I've learned to ride a horse despite my heavily broken neck. I cannot see to the front, and yet I can still jump the fences. No, put me back on the horse. I wish to ride again. Yes, this is Prime Minister David Cameron on a visit to a housing development near Manchester during this week's Conservative Party conference. At the conference, a number of high-profile policies were announced. Have you seen any of these policies?
Yes, they have announced that married couples are going to get a tax allowance, aren't they?
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be £200 a year. Yeah? Wow. To encourage couples to spend £4 a week. It's brilliant, isn't it? People going, yeah, walk out, go on, don't turn around now. Come on, eh? There's £2 in it for you.
It literally is a pint. You could just get a pint out of it, and then every week you'll argue about who gets the pint.
You're talking London prices here.
Oh, sorry, of course. If they break into a student bar in Stoke, you get hammered for a month. Yeah. Well, I don't think that's going to help the cohesion of their marriage.
So at £200 a year, the average wedding is £18,000. So to break even, 90 years you need to be married for.
Don't go dying on me. Don't go dying on me. I need another 23 years out of you. Come on.
We're not married, Andy.
No. That was like the weirdest romantic movie ever. Don't you die on me. Don't you die on me, Joshua Wickham.
Don't I feel the gooseberry?
Who's actually going to be... What decision would you make differently because there's £200 a year?
Well, my accountant advised me to become a Mormon.
Your accountant actually is a Mormon. He just hands out those leaflets all the time.
That was a completely unrelated anecdote.
It is weird because it's social policy, it's social engineering by dangling money in front of people.
He hasn't dangled it in front of people, he's waved it in front of people and said, if you like it, then you should have put a ring on it. That's what he's done.
We start with a round call. If this is the answer, what is the question? On the board are 6 categories. Ed, which category would you like?
Sport, please.
OK, the category is sport, and the answer is 33. What is the question?
Is it how many pages in a Game of Thrones script are just the word tits in massive letters?
What is the emoticon for 2 women in a queue?
Is it the number of women I slept with in my 20s plus 32?
Is it how many children you have to qualify for a family ticket at Mormon Centre Parks?
Is it at what age did I finally accept that I would never play the Milky Bar Kid?
You really want to do that?
Dream diet.
I've got 3 years to go.
Finally accepted.
Okay. How many cans of Fosters can you drink and still be below under the limit? How can...
That's the way you wouldn't want to say it if you'd actually been stopped by the police. And how much would you have to drink? Well, how many Fosters can you have?
I think you'll find
limit, actually.
I am below under the limit. Not above.
Is it after how many miles did one of the proclaimers ask if they were nearly there yet?
Surely they go, why are we both going? you're the only one who's going to shag her. Why am I joining you on this 500-mile journey?
You promised me she had a friend. Is that right?
Is it... if a minicab says that it's 5 minutes away, how minutes...
Holy! Don't talk bad about Uber.
Well, here, the minicab industry has long fingers, isn't it? You don't have that today.
Well, from now on, I'm taking a black cab. There is a little bit of glass. Look, we've had a bit now.
Oh, really?
Sue! Injuries at work!
Oh, my God. Have you been injured? You probably did the voiceover for those ads. Why did you ask yourself?
I had 33 Fosters and then the light exploded!
Now, I'm going to check with you. What do you think? They're happy.
They're happy.
Oh, they're happy.
Yeah, brilliant, yeah.
Carry on. So easy for you to say. All right, OK. We're being shelled here.
Is it how many people are going to be sacked after that light explosion?
Now we play a round called Can You Smell What the Mock is Cooking? This game involves Josh and Milton, so if you could make your way to the performance area, please. This round is our stand-up challenge. I launch the wheel of news, and wherever it chooses to stop, one of our performers must step forward and talk about that subject. The winner is whoever I think is the funniest. OK, let's go. Let's spin the wheel. First topic is childhood. Who wants to come in on that? Josh.
I grew up in a small village in Devon, which was as fun as it sounds. Very little happened. To give you an idea, the most exciting thing that happened in my village was when I was 7, for a brief period, there was a bull in a field. And I was terrified of this bull. I used to walk past my dad and go, oh, don't worry about that. He's more scared of you than you are of him. And I used to think, no, he isn't, mate. Bonfire night was the worst, though, because the build-up to bonfire night was just warnings about the way it was going to go wrong. They go, oh, bonfire night's coming up. You're either going to get burnt with a sparkler or hit with a firework. My favourite was on Blue Peter every year. They'd have the same warning that applied to no one in Britain. Every year they go, oh, bonfire night's coming up, and if you do own a pet tortoise... Well, and they go, if you do own a pet tortoise and it's hibernating in a box, do be careful to not absent-mindedly throw that box onto the fire. I don't know how unlikely that scenario is. So I know no one who owns a pet tortoise. Secondly, how unruly is your bonfire night getting? You go, yeah, just chuck everything on, yeah. Yeah, Guy Fawkes with their shit, show him what I think of him. Go into my houses, get my boxes, don't look in them, throw them on the fire. I don't care that the contents is snoring, throw it on, I told you. 2 months later, you walk around your house going, where the hell is Sheldon? The warnings there were wrong. The warning on sparklers, it'll burn your hands. That happened to no one. The warning on sparklers should be, if you're planning using a sparkler, do be aware you will do the same 3 shapes you did every other year. Zigzags, circles. Go on then, I'll write my own name. That is it every year. We used to have those home fireworks displays where they'd be terrifying. Most people were interested in health and safety. My dad didn't bother with that. He'd just go, well, you know, We've got 6 fireworks. The cat's got 9 lives. We're going to be fine. We're firing off fireworks towards the village like we declared war, and then the whole thing would climax with the Catherine wheel nailed to a gate, failing to go off. My dad creeping up on it, us going, Dad, you're not meant to go back to a lit firework. Him going, don't worry about that, it's more scared of me than I am of it, it'll be fine.
Thank you very much, Josh Whittaker.
OK, so Milton is left. Let's see what topic he has. Let's spin the wheel. Now, the topic is travel. Where you go?
Strange things do happen. Once, I saw a little green man, and I walked towards him, and he just disappeared, and then I got run over. Kuala Lumpur, that was a bit of a disappointment. I always thought it was a bear crossed with an Oompa Loompa. You know, clingy, but quite hard-working. I was in France recently. I saw this little old lady knitting in the town square. I said, voulez-vous crochet avec moi? She took it all the wrong way. What with the financial situation, I'm not sure Ireland's going to stay afloat. Cork, maybe. 11 days it takes to walk to Torquay holding the hand of a 7-year-old. Well, that's what I thought. It was his birthday treat, but turns out he actually wanted a walkie-talkie. I'm very English, really. I even ordered a book on the internet, How to Have Absolutely Nothing to Do with Your Neighbours. Unfortunately, I was out when it was delivered.
Well done. Thank you very much. Points there. Go to Milton. Come on back. The subject is clubbing. Who wants to talk about that? Miles.
Yeah, well, I'm sure you can all tell I'm a bit of a clubber. Nothing I like more than getting down to the local hotspot and shaking the old batty and ting, a bit of shawaddy-waddy. Don't mind if I do. No, I have tried nightclubbing. It's not really my thing. I'm a bit too delicate, my system. I was in a nightclub recently. A fellow young raver danced up and shouted, I'm loving it, loving it, loving it. I replied, I'm finding it all a bit noisy, finding it all a bit noisy, finding it all a bit noisy. People jump around like crazy in those places. At one point, my cup and saucer was knocked clean out of my hand. It's tricky. I mean, I've tried the dancing. That's not my thing either. I don't care if I haven't got sexy Latin rhythms. I've got a Latin A-level. Much more transferable in the job market. I was on the dance floor recently. A lot of my fellow young ravers were blowing whistles, so I joined in and gave a bloody good pop on my bugle. Unfortunately, that meant half the Bosworth Hunt came charging in across the dance. Hounds mistook 3 of the ginger students for foxes, and there was a hell of a mess.
Thank you very much, Miles. Josh. OK, that leaves us with Jack. Let's see what you've been left with. Let's spin the wheel. The topic is health.
I know what you're thinking. Yeah, that is my gun. So, we are in the midst of an obesity epidemic, and the people I blame, definitely, are the supermarkets, because I don't think they're doing enough, right? Like, you go into any supermarket now, you buy food. If you care about what you put into your body, you look at the nutritional information, you know, the little wheel of guilt that every packet has on it now. That lures you in, doesn't it? Like, you buy something, like ice cream. It's like, this ice cream only contains 5% of your daily intake of calories. You're like, oh, that's very promising. I'll buy and eat the ice cream then. Then you look up a little bit closer, above the little wheel of guilt, tiny white writing, 1/8 of a tub. Oh, you cheeky bastard. You're not allowed to do that. Put on the packet whatever makes it sound good to sell the product, then make up a ludicrously unrealistic portion size, so I buy it like a twat. That's like Greg's going, this sausage roll only contains 2% of your daily intake of calories, if you lick it. It needs to do more. I think what the supermarkets need to start doing is putting warnings on their packets of food, like they do with cigarettes. You buy cigarettes, it's got a horrible picture of, like, a lung caked in shit. You're like, oh, I don't want to smoke that. You should do it with food. Tesco's on cakes should just have pictures of, I don't know, a really fat woman crying as she walks out of Topshop empty-handed.
OK, at the end of that round, what the hell? Points for everyone. Come on, sit back down here. We come to scenes we'd like to see, so if everyone can make their way over to the performance area, please. I'll read out this week's topics, and then we'll see what our panellists can come up with. OK, here we go. Our first subject is things you won't hear at the World Cup.
No one's guaranteed a start in this England team. The only thing that's nailed on is Wayne Rooney's hair.
Oh, that was a horrible two-footed lunge, but it was the only way I could shut Phil Neville up.
And now our cameraman is going to pick out some of the plainer girls in the crowd.
Let's have a look at possession. Yes, 7 Colombians have been arrested for it.
Hang on. It's not very high side. So it's just this one side is doing it all the time, and that's really unfair. I'm so sorry, right? You two are just... You're kind of hogging it a bit. So for the rest of the round, I'm sorry. You're just going to have to... Things you won't hear at the World Cup. Dun 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 dun. Sorry, excuse me.
It's the first time that most people have ever seen Dara's legs, ladies and gentlemen. That's Messi. Oh, Messi. Yes, Wayne Rooney should never have a half-time orange unsupervised.
There's little doubt now that Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the world's all-time greatest twats.
Welcome to Sugarloaf Mountain, the hardest level on Candy Crush.
And that's a very soft tackle, as Pele hasn't taken his tablets yet.
Is he the finished article? That's the question. He did very well against Italy, but Sterling has traditionally performed very badly against the dollar and the yen.
And now we go over live for Nigeria against the Ivory Coast and our commentator, Ron Atkinson.
You join us here in Brazil where it's still fucking well up.
Hey, who's heard what's going on in Iraq?
There's 6 Brazilians in the wall and 2 in the foundations. That's the mafia for you.
4 years later, Paul the Octopus is back. And what a stew he made.
Andre Pirlo, the only player in world football to be named after the Palestinian Liberation Organisation.
There you go. OK. Yes, the question I was looking for was, according to Harriet Harman, what proportion of the top 2 posts in the Labour Party should be allocated to Harriet Harman? Or more generally, women. This is the news. The Deputy Leader of the Labour Party, Harriet Harman, said that either her post or the job of leader should always be occupied by a woman because, in her words, men cannot be left to run things on their own. Her actual words.
Listen
right?
to that applause. Did you hear that? Bingo wings in the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there is something about representation of women at the high levels of government, but that actual quote does make it seem like every time she left the room, it would turn into a chimp tea party. And she'd come back in, they go, oh, sorry.
It's true, though, isn't it, that women are underrepresented in the top echelons of politics, aren't they? In Italy, for example, there are lots of women in the top jobs. You could be... Berlusconi will put you in the cabinet in Italy at the age of 19 if you're good enough. So you can see where it's coming from.
Harriet Harman's an incredible figure, isn't she? You know that Harriet Harman, when she first came to my attention, she wrote a book about the history of feminism, which she dedicated to her husband. She's mistaking sexism with people hating her.
She's always saying stupid things, isn't she? She said she is Radio 2 to Gordon Brown's Radio 4. And you're thinking, well, she's not Radio 2. Radio 2 is the most popular radio station in this country. If she's anything, she's Isle of Wight FM on a Sunday morning at 3 o'clock in January when the transmission mast is broken.
Some are watching is there is the guy who does the 3 o'clock in the morning slot.
Why am I the shorthand for crap?
Wouldn't it be great if he looks exactly like Harriet Harman as well?
I know their female politicians always have an element of freakishness, don't they? She's a bit of a freak. Hazel Blears looks like Gianfranco Zola humped an Oompa Loompa. And Margaret Beckett looks like a face trapped in a haunted mirror.
As opposed to Alistair Darling, a former winner of Miss Teen USA, and John Prescott.
Why are we led by the least among us?
Because they're the only ones who are fool enough to do it.
Maybe one of the qualifications to become an MP is you have to be born inside out. That's one of the things. You can quite clearly sustain your organs on the outside. Come on in.
The thing about Harriet Harman as well is that she's wonderfully dappy. I don't know if you knew this, but her blog was recently broken into and they said she defected to the Tories. And do you know how they found out? Do you know what her password was? Harriet Harman.
They said that if the Lehman Brothers had actually been the Lehman sisters, that the banking crisis wouldn't have been as bad as it was. I think that's utter rubbish.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. I think if there were girls in charge of the Lehmans, they'd just gone, sod it, should we just spend it on shoes? Come on!
Exactly.
$1 billion on Jimmy Choo.
It is a ridiculous argument, the Lehman Brothers, I mean, you could just choose any pun at that stage. But if the Lehman Brothers were the Gaiman Brothers, then the gay men should have done much better.
You could say that in tennis. You could go, well, if the Williams sisters were... Oh, that's a bad example.
But the thing is, it just comes down to the fact that they're saying women are better with money. That's what she's saying, which is simply not true. No man bought Mamma Mia. There isn't a man that's listened to Duffy. Everywhere you go, I'm back in my No man went, Duffy, please, I love this stuff, it really sings to me. It isn't a man, this is a direct pop at my girlfriend, who spent 30 quid on a doorstop that's a hedgehog.
It's great to be able to come on a TV show, though, and have a go at your girlfriend, isn't it?
Just don't get the doorstop!
I think if women are genuinely better with money, I think we should put Kerry Katona in charge of Barclays and see what happens.
I think we all know what Harriet needs. Our support, because she's right.
Bankers are sexist and bankers are laddish, but that isn't the reason that the banks collapsed. It's not like people were going there, what did the derivatives close at? I don't know, I was giving Jason a wedgie. I think if it's got to be a man and a woman that's in charge, let's have Richard and Judy. Judy can recommend a few books while we wait for the bombs to arrive from all the countries that Richard has offended.
There is an argument, has to be said, that a female leader would Labour be more electable under a female leader, and she's right, it would be more electable under it would be electable under anyone, frankly. If they elected a hat stand or a jar of hummus to run if the Labour Party chose the H1N1 virus to lead it into the next election, it would do better than they will under Gordon Brown. And it's travel. Who wants to come in that? Marcus.
I think the thing with travelling is it's often quite hard to make yourself understood. I was in South Africa recently, and the way they talk there, that's not even the joke yet. I literally went to South Africa. All their vowels sound the same. So a word like cigarettes, it sounds like secrets. I was there. This guy was going, "Give me one of your secrets. Can I have one of your? Can I have one of your secrets?" Well, I once masturbated in a library. But in a way, I do at least prefer it when it's me travelling. I get very nervous when people I know and love are travelling. Like my wife. My wife is always in planes and stuff. I get very nervous in case something happens to her. I've even resorted to checking, you can track the flight on the website. So the other week, my wife was flying, and I was there following it on the website, and it says, in the air. I couldn't relax till it said, landed. Which I know, I'm not sure how reliable a guide it is, really. I can't imagine if there is a problem, they change it to crashed. Turned into a fireball, frowny face.
Thank you very much, Mark. Well done.
What are some of the items that are exempt from the new 5p charge for plastic carrier bags? The government introduced the charge throughout England on Monday to reduce litter and protect the environment.
Like, you're paying 5p for a bag, you can get a trolley for £1, can't you?
The reaction has been fairly over the top. This is the front page of the Daily Mail. Plastic bags, chaos looms. Because you got to pay 5p. This is a thing that was introduced in Scotland, in Wales, in Northern Ireland, in the Republic of Ireland. It's been there for 10 years.
Yes, but be honest, Dara. You and I moved here when it was brought in the Republic of Ireland because of the Armageddon that it
created.
Ireland was laid waste. People fought over bags, put them over each other's heads, choked
awful.
people. It was horrible.
It was brother against brother. Yeah. It was father against mother. It was carnage in Ireland over the bags. What? What a bag? How? It was screaming.
Armageddon.
5p a bag, though, that's good, isn't it? I've got loads of plastic bags under my sink. I'm going to start selling them outside Asda for 4p.
Yeah, people are opening that drawer and going, "I'm a millionaire!"
It might turn into an insult, though, mightn't it? 5p bag. You just go, "Yeah, your mum's a 5p bag, mate."
If you was in a massive Tesco and you got yourself a bit of Cherokee gear, you could... do you not buy Cherokee from Tesco?
What's Cherokee?
It's their brand of clothes in Tesco. I'm not in my world, am I? It's my first suit from Asda. 20 quid. I nearly caught fire walking down the road. Just stack, threw it in the air. Caught on the ceiling.
No one has will only wear Cherokee.
If you buy clothes in the supermarkets, will you get a nice bag? Or?
I'm sorry, I'm more intrigued that the Tesco clothing range is called Cherokee.
Something like that. I might be saying it wrong, because I said... What did I say wrong the other day? Those Mikados.
Mikado.
I say
why are you looking at me like we live together?
What did I say wrong the other day, love? What was it?
I did the opposite of that with your mispronunciation. I accidentally called Wagamamas Wagamamas. That's the poshest thing I've ever done in my life. Wagamamas.
Wagamamas. I prefer Wagapapas, but Wagamamas will do it a pub.
When we were underage and trying to get served in pubs, you know Bombardier, the ale Bombardier, one of my friends panicked and said, "Can I have a pint of Bombardier, please?"
The answer is £100 a day. What is the question?
Is it according to The Sun, how much does the average beggar make a day?
You're ruining by saying a day when it's already got a day in the answer.
Okay. Is it? Let me have another crack at that one.
Repetition of a day. Say it without a day and I'll watch.
What's happening?
Well, I was just about
to. Hang on a minute. Ed's turned into like the Microsoft paperclip. He's trying to write his letter. You're doing it wrong.
Are you doing a list?
According to The Sun, right, what does a beggar earn?
But we are apparently in the middle of a countryside crime wave. Have you seen this?
If I lived in the country, I'd be delighted if someone did a crime, because I'd be bored out of my mind. Thank God you've turned up with a shotgun to steal my rhubarb. Could you kill me on the way out?
Some bloke sold rhubarb from an allotment. You have to
tag it.
Just
Why don't they tag it?
Imagine the phone call. Just some deranged. They've taken it. It's gone. My prize-winning marrow. Is there no God? You have. Surely you have
could
to
just
feel
put rhubarb down his sleeves and then go.
Had I been there, you can't ever feel sorry for the. That's the lowest rung of criminality, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Let me finish. Just. I'm going to kill myself here.
Beautiful. Vintage mock the week. He brought up the subject just so someone else could do a joke on it. Surely he might have been working towards a punchline. You ignorant.
Jesus. Can we get a higher chair for the joke umpire?
I have a feeling the Microsoft paperclip's taken some cocaine. But... I like it.
That's great. Little animation of the paper go. Good, yeah. That's a really good letter.
The point I was going to make is, surely, right, fellas, but surely, if you're a bank robber, you're sexy, you're dangerous, you can get diamonds for your lover. If you steal from allotments, what hope have you got, you know? You've got dirt underneath your fingernails. All you have to offer is broccoli. You know?
Hey, a woman who's going to have sex for broccoli is going to be dirty.
I was wondering if one of the reasons they were trying to steal...
Wouldn't that be... Hang on, sorry to interrupt you, Andy, but wouldn't that be the...
Frankly, I wish to go on the record and say I have now lost control. OK, here we go. The first subject is lines you wouldn't hear in a sci-fi movie.
Captain's log, stardate 21:35. It's a Tuesday.
Actually, Jeremy Carr's just got the DNA results back. And apparently, Luke, I'm not your father.
Commander Skywalker, bad news. We left R2-D2 outside to stand guard, and the council took him away for emptying.
I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. I've seen attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I've seen...
There's a giant Satsuma in front of the ship. Go to orange alert.
First, there were snakes on the plane. Now the British remake, Wasp in a car.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down now, I shall become more powerful. Get off, you prick!
What is it, Captain? I've never seen anything like it in my life. Of course not, Scotty. It's the sun.
Since you have got your laser gun trained on me, I've got a bit of stubborn hair just here.
Permission to beam down to the Forbidden Planet. No.
I can see dead people. That's because I'm watching UK TV Gold.
Here are the sci-fi football results. R2-D2. C3P. 0.
Look at all those fading, dwindling stars, forced to eat bugs in a jungle.
If you leave our protection, you will almost definitely die. Scotty, do you still want independence?
Luke, I am your father. Go to your room.
Captain, I don't like it when you call me Spock face.
To boldly go where no man has gone before. Anne Widdecombe.
How many Klingons does it take to change a dilithium crystal? 10. 1 to change it, and the other 9 to chastise him for performing such a menial task when he's a member of a proud warrior race.
We start with a round called If This Is the Answer, What Is the Question? On the board are 6 categories. Holly, which category would you like?
Politics, please.
No problem. No, politics is the category. Let's have a look at the answer. 11.5 billion. What is the question?
What is the amount I stand to win if the new royal baby is called Trevor?
Is it how many laxatives is Nigella Lawson going to put in her husband's next cake?
Is it how many words are there in an iTunes terms and conditions update?
Is it how much of Eric Pickle's department agreed to cut from their biscuit budget?
Is it how many times does Berlusconi have to be found guilty before he actually goes to jail?
Wow. Is it how many times a day do I currently have to listen to Get Lucky by Daft Punk?
Is how many Tesco club card points do you need for 10p off a pack of cereal?
Is it how much has Dara O'Brien got his legs insured for?
You've never seen them.
Yeah.
You've never seen. You know how magical they are.
Is it how many times does a former Radio 1 DJ delete his internet browsing history when the doorbell rings?
How many Ferrero Rocher has Julian Assange eaten in the last year?
Is it quite simply think of a number?
No. Do they have the correct answer?
Yes. How much money does George Osborne want the government departments to cut in the spending review?
Absolutely right. Thank you very much, Chris. Alistair, thank you very much. Yes, the question I was looking for is how much money has Chancellor George Osborne agreed to cut from government departments in his latest spending review? Do we know when the spending review is supposed to kick in? When is this for?
Well, this spending review, it's essentially cuts, isn't it?
Yes.
They call it review, but they mean cuts.
Yes.
I mean, imagine we all spoke like politicians. I, in fact, reviewed my toenails this morning, but I haven't been for a hair review for some time.
The departments are all fighting about it, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
They're fighting, and some departments have done worse than others. The MOD have got off quite lightly, but that's quite understandable. It's very difficult to negotiate with the MOD because they've got guns.
I dare they just walk in and just put them on the table.
Yeah.
Or spin them. That'd be particularly impressive. They said, "Oh, I'm quite happy to negotiate this."
Yeah.
You know what?
Pick a number.
Other departments got off really lightly. I mean, nothing happened yet again to the Ministry of Sound, and.